Kentucky, good job. Let's do a sing-along. You ready? Come on. MAGA country, North Kentucky. Thomas Massie is real and Jew hater. That's right.
You like what you see?
Hair, weird, strange, and creepy. Used up like Bobert's Mountains. Another descent to feed.
Ask me about my winner. Boner phone.
Been replaced.
Total disaster, and you know who it is? Thomas Massie is the worst.
Such Groiper trauma, fired and sent home. Little pine cone, fired and sent home. Little pine cone.
Couldn't stand Massie, and neither can I.
Thank you, Kentucky. So much winning. Please, Mr. President, please stop.
Thanks a lot. Bye.
MAGA, baby. God bless America.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the following program. I am your host, Joe Nierman, a.k.a. Good Logic. I apologize out of the gate. I told y'all yesterday I would hope to come out here early. But then I realized the reason that didn't happen, if you're wondering, because you're like, didn't Joe say at the end of his show last night that he was going to be starting his show like early, like maybe 9 o'clock? The reason it didn't happen is because I realized even if I start at 9, I was still going to not be there when the race was called. In fact, by the time when I was first like looking at setting up my show, it was like, Galrine wins, Massie's out. So I was like, well, I guess there's no point to starting early. And then I had a big fight with AI trying to create tonight's thumbnail. I spent like an hour just like, no, that doesn't look like Candace Owens at all. What? Here's a picture. No, now it doesn't look like Massie. Yeah. So anyhow, that's why we started late, because I'm not pleased if my Dave Smith looks like some rando brunette dude. No, it's gotta look like, you gotta know it's Dave Smith when you see it. Otherwise, and if Massie's looking like some regular gray bearded dude, I was like, what's happening? What's happening? Well, in case you missed the news, Thomas Massie's lost his primary to Rhino-in-Chief Ed Galrine. This would normally be heartbreaking news to most of us. And I think it's really because of the massive amount of Massie loonies out there who just became insufferable TDS barkers about how MAGA's dead and how, you know, it's our party now and all that other crap. They just became insufferable. It was just impossible. It was too much. It was too much. I mean, not to mention the dude was an obstructionist who basically couldn't find a bill that he could say yes to. He just voted no on everything, this guy. So it was like I said tonight would be either a punch in the stomach or a punch in the gut. And at a certain point, I was like, you know what? Galrine's in there. I'm not going to remember him. He's not a memorable punch in the stomach. And as I started hearing more and more personal attacks on me, just based on like, you know, my just based on my circumcision, I was just like, you know what? F it. I'm tired of this. I hope the guy goes down. I became a stronger anti-Massie just the more I listened to his supporters. They just became completely and totally insufferable with all these ridiculous, stupid predictions about how he's going to dominate and how this was going to. And I was just like, people, you know what they lost sight of? All these influencers who have they seem to be incompetent and professing so much understanding. This is where they're screaming now. What are they screaming now? It's not MAGA, it's MAGA. It's Make Israel Great Again. And then it's because of how much money AIPAC spent, or Israel. They say how much money Israel spent, even though Israel didn't spend a dime. Technically, it was AIPAC, which is basically Americans who support a strong relationship with the state of Israel. It's not Israeli government. But I understand what they mean when there's, because I don't want to take them out of context. The thought that they're having there is that Israel's influencing Trump's policies too much from their perspective, way too much. I don't know how they know. I don't know how they know that Israel is the one controlling Trump, but apparently that's what they're positive of. They saw the millions of dollars that went into the campaign against Massie, and they basically, it's like, Israel's trying to control our country. Dude, think about this for a second. He literally declared war on AIPAC. For the last year, he declared war on AIPAC, and tonight he lost that war. That's what happened. But AIPAC has no chance here. AIPAC has no chance of getting rid of this guy, but for the fact, as much as I'm sure they can't stand him, because he literally declared war on them, as much as they can't stand him, they have no chance at all, but for the fact that Trump put a target on Thomas Massie's political forehead. Put a massive target on it, and Massie seemed to forget that he's in a district that was plus 40 for Trump. This is a district where everyone is just like, I love Trump, I love Trump, I love Trump, I love Trump. And Trump comes out and is like, this is the guy you need to remove. You need to get rid of this guy. And he thought that, I don't know, I guess he fell so in love with his online support and the love fest that he was getting from all these different leftists that he's getting from these, the woke right, the love that he's getting from some people who have very unsettling opinions about genetics. And it was just, and he seemed to just completely lose sight of the fact that, look at your district. Have you been representing their interests? Your district very strongly supports President Trump's agenda. Very strongly. Do you know how hard it is for an incumbent to lose? An incumbent who's been there, he's won 6 times. Isn't that like some brand new guy? Isn't to lose in a primary? An incumbent to lose in a primary. You think that because of money that just like, oh, that's what turned the tide here? That's what did it? This explains why you were stupid enough to think that like, he's going to dominate tonight. The same Einsteins who come to the conclusion that that Massie's going to dominate tonight are the ones who are coming to the conclusion that this was about the money. The money is why it's Trump. We are living in Trump's world. And specifically, if there's any place that is Trump world, it's the 4th District of Kentucky, which, as I said, was plus 40 for Trump. Think about all the money that Kamala Harris threw out, $1.5 billion that she burned through in 102 days or whatever. How much did that help her? Did that do anything for her? You think anyone in Massie's district, you think Ed Gowrine gets 12% of the vote if Trump doesn't say go vote for Gowrine? I don't care how much money AIPAC would have thrown behind him. He wouldn't have gotten anything but for the fact that Trump went to the 4th District and basically said, hey, you guys, you need to get rid of Massie. That's what happened. That's what happened. And he got dominated. What were the final numbers here? What are the final numbers? Let's see the final numbers here. I get so tired of these people who are proven to be idiots over and over and over again with their predictions and all their different things. I'm careful in my predictions. I'm very careful because I'm like, I don't want to be proven wrong. I'm like, if I feel like I know something. Viva asked me today, he's like, what I think is going to happen. I was like, I don't know. I think it's going to be very tough. What I said is, I think it's going to be very tough for Massie. It's going to be very tough for him. But for me, I wouldn't say Gowrine's going to win. Let's face it, it's not Gowrine winning. It's Massie losing. That's what this is. This was a vote of Massie winning, Massie losing. Gowrine is just a name. He's just it's a warm body. And sadly, he's a terrible warm body. I'm telling you, I'm going to hate Gowrine. I know I'm going to hate Gowrine, but tonight's not about Gowrine. Tonight's about all these anti-Trumpers basically taking it hard on the chin. That's what tonight is about. All these anti-Trumpers, all the people screaming about how he betrayed us, he turned on us. And, you know, MAGA hates him now. That MAGA is dead. MAGA is dead. Celebrate that MAGA is dead. And as I've said before, when I called these celebrations to your attention, if you are genuinely a patriot, if you are truly someone who loves the United States of America, and you have any sort of real conception as to what MAGA is about, there is no chance you would ever celebrate its demise and trumpet it. Try to just project out there, MAGA's dead, MAGA's dead. Yeah, there you go. MAGA's dead. MAGA basically just ended Thomas Massie's political career. And we'll see that it is almost certainly over. What am I looking for? I'm looking for the election results. So I wanted to get the actual numbers here. Basically a 10-point win. Basically a 10-point. That's not how I wanted it. That's not the angle I wanted. That's better. Ed Galrine, 57,822 votes to 47,545. So there you go. There you go. There's other great news that I have for you tonight in election news. I have other great news. Really great news. Phenomenal news. News that you might not have heard. Some of you have heard. Probably. I'm assuming one or two of you. One or two of you may have heard about it. But I got some great news for you. I think Kimmy called one of them out. Yeah, Kimmy called one of them out. I had seen that and I was like, oh yeah, that's already in my queue. That's already in the queue. But this was a massive, massive, massive win for Trump. This is what it was. Trump was like, you're gonna turn on me. I'm telling you now, you're not gonna be happy. You're not gonna be happy with the way things play out. Massive win for Trump. And a lot of people are celebrating, one of them being Sean Farage. He's very, very happy. Sure. He's very, very happy. And he brought his Trump weighing in on this. Oh, that wasn't the one I wanted. This was him. This was him having Trump describe his feelings tonight.
This is your favorite president, and today is a tremendous day for our country. Congressman Thomas Massie and his undercooked linguine haircut. Hey, look at his hair. Country. It looks like undercooked linguine, and nobody knows hair quite like I do. I have the greatest hair. They say to me, sir, your hair is like golden waves of grain, and that's the greatest hairdo in the history of the world. But Thomas Massie and his stupid haircut, undercooked linguine, ramen noodles, is hitting the road. You know, he lost, and he lost by a lot. You think about it, he lost by a landslide. I wouldn't know what that feels like. I've never lost an election. A lot of people are saying to me, sir, what's it feel like to lose? I wouldn't know what it feels like to lose, but he knows what it feels like. I want to say thank you to Kentucky's 4th Congressional District, and I want to say thank you to the low IQ influencers who have no influence at all. They're a bunch of fakes and phonies and frauds, and now they're a bunch of losers. And they did a lot of stupid things with Massie, who happens to be a stupid person. And they caused him to lose. You think about it. They did a lot of damage to his campaign. And let this be a lesson to anybody else. If you get in bed with those people, you're going to have a very hard time. I can tell you that. But congratulations to Kentucky. Congratulations to the United States of America. They call him Masshole. They call him Masshole. And it's not a nice name, but he's not a nice person. So congratulations to Kentucky. Congratulations to America. And congratulations to all the hardworking MAGA patriots who are working to make America great again. God bless you, and thank you for your attention to this matter.
And Trump fans have been celebrating all night tonight, as you would imagine. Next Congress, by the way, next Congress is not going to have Al Green, Jasmine Crockett, Dan Crenshaw, Eric Swalwell, Mitch McConnell, Nancy Pelosi, Don Bacon, Jerry Nadler, Bill Cassidy, or Thomas Massie. That's called draining the swamp. Although I want to be clear here, I never thought of him as a rhino. A lot of people love to call him a rhino. I don't think he's a rhino. But Kyle Rittenhouse, another big Massie supporter.
Well, this is the race we have been watching. The projected winner, NBC News can project it as Ed Galrine winning the Kentucky's 4th district. Well, this is
That's pretty funny. That's pretty funny. That's pretty funny. That was pretty funny.
And it's very cool.
oh my gosh.
It's very harsh. Very harsh.
Isn't that great? Just went up yesterday, and it's very cool.
Very, very harsh. A lot of people, like I said, a lot of people are just being very, very mean. Very, very mean. That's mean. That's just mean. That's beneath me. You know, I enjoy a good chuckle. What is up with locals? Why didn't I do that? That's on me. I'm going to fix that now. I saw someone say, "What's up with locals?" I just fixed it. Anyway, so those are some of the Thomas Massie memes that have been circulating around here. I want to call out J.H. Schwalbach here, my buddy, hitting me with 20 new members of the following. J.H. bringing him in, celebrating. I think he's pretty pleased that Massie's gone. Bringing them on in here to the following. Please bear in mind that the following is not at all a cult, type of cult. It's just a gathering of like-minded individuals who are seeking greater personal growth through community, unity, learning, and thinking. That's what we are. That's what we are. And who did you gift? And when you hear your name, please make sure that you express your gratitude to J.H. Schwalbach for bringing you into the following, which is pretty much the greatest assembly of people you could possibly hope for. And that would include you, Kathy Chanette. That would include you, Coleman Sweeney, and Lisa Faltersack, as well as Karaoke, Chris Black, Cruel Spark, I Am Siobin, something, Captain Smith, Benjamin Crowder, Mr. Seduzme, Debbie Picard, Mark Long from New Hampshire, Frantic Missy Official, PM Goodyear, Spectre of the Horseman, Dilly Zara Jabarali Lee 7289, Alex 77ZXA, Dianika, Miss Mom, and Finn Human. Welcome to the following. Please bear in mind that I am not at all the leader of the following. I'm just a host. I'm just here as a host. They bring me in here. So welcome to the following. And thank you again, my brother. Give you the horn for that. Well, he's saying 5-0 for Trump endorsements today. More than that. That's only the beginning. That's just a lot better than 5-0. A lot better. Please don't read the names. I don't need things. It's for them. I'm sorry I missed this. I didn't see it. I would have respected it. I'll bear that in mind next time. Next time you gift, I'll bear in mind. JH doesn't want me to call out names. Okay. Karen Manning's great debate, but you two had different opinions. Yeah, we did. In case you missed it, I uploaded debate that I had with Viva Fry about Thomas Massie that I had on his channel earlier today. I spent over an hour. It was supposed to be 45 minutes. He had scheduled me. I said, I don't want to come there for 20 minutes. That's just a waste of time. There's not enough. There's a lot to cover. And 20 minutes is not going to cut it. So he said he can give me 45 minutes before he's supposed to bring in Ivan Raiklin. And it ended up being an hour 20. We just kept going. Massie married a leftist. His defeat is very good. That would explain. Massie's first policies are on life support for 7 more months. He's vowed to work extra hard for his remaining time on, wait for it, Epstein. I was thinking about it. I was like, he does have a lot of time left. He has more than half a year left in Congress. When it's a primary loss, they get to sit around for a long time. We're going to be hearing Thomas Massie for the next 7 months. And it's weirdly impossible to find any clips of Massie from 2021 to 2025 talking about Epstein and the Biden administration. Oh, right. Thomas Massie, barely 3 months ago, Donald Trump is with the Epstein class. This is the Epstein administration. It's disgusting. It's really disgusting. I mean, the only people who is, I mean, it basically just trying to wash him together with the Epstein class, with the worst people on earth.
He's still in with the Epstein class. This is the Epstein administration, and they're attacking me for trying to get these files released.
And again, I'm going to say President Trump has not been accused of anything criminal here. Thank you very much.
He's still.
How sad is it when ABC News has to correct the insinuated defamation that you as a Republican congressman are throwing out there? I think about that moment that we just heard at the end of this clip. You got someone from ABC News who's like, after Thomas Massie finishes talking about Donald Trump, has to correct because they're afraid of the liability that they might incur for transmitting this defamation.
Been accused of anything criminal. And again, I'm going to say President Trump has not been accused of anything criminal here. Thank you very much.
That right there tells you just how far left off the reservation Thomas Massie went. It did. It's insane. It's insane. The Epstein class. Disgusting.
Kentucky.
I'm getting rid of some of my, I don't want them to pop up on me later. This is some of the stuff I shared earlier. I'm just sort of clearing out. So yes, and it seems as if Massie might really be done. This is what he said 3 months ago.
If I lose on May 19th, I am not doing any more government ever. I'm not running for president, not running for governor. It's a sign from God or the people or both that I, should go back to the farm. If I.
So this really might be if you take him at his word, which frankly I don't know how anyone takes him at his word, but if you take him at his word, we're done with Massie. This is it. We got to ride out the next 7 months of him basically being a D-bag. And then we're done with him. So that's something. I think that's probably news you might not have heard just yet, but that is his claim. He got a lot of flack for his association with this guy Ryan Maddow, who seems to not really be a big fan of the Jews. He's not a big fan of the Jews. With his stupid American Reich sweatshirt that he was wearing, taking pictures with Thomas Massie. And this is who Ryan Maddow is. If you think that this is a guy who's like got any sort of healthy perspectives for America.
So we got some breaking news coming in from RT. Unfortunately, the video of the Marines getting captured turned out to be a total.
Still wearing that American Reich sweatshirt. Apparently, it's his fave. like an 11-year-old. He doesn't seem to want to take it off ever.
That would have been fucking awesome, wouldn't it? Trump tries to take Kyrgyz Island.
Listen to him talking about the war in Iran and how he's rooting for Iran to basically capture and kill American soldiers. I mean, a psychopath. This is his camp. These are his big supporters. These are the ones who went to Kentucky to try and vote for Massie.
Unfortunately, the video of the Marines getting captured turned out to be a total dud.
Unfortunately, the video of the Marines being captured in Iran, American Marines captured, that turned out to be a dud. That turned out not to be, unfortunately, that turned out to not be true. A psychopath.
That would have been fucking awesome, wouldn't it?
Yeah, wouldn't that have been awesome? Wouldn't that have been?
Trump tries to take Kyrgyz Island. The Marines get captured. Nobody gets killed. Iran has them hostage. And basically what the soldier said in that video was so good. It was basically like, Trump set us up, complete failure. We were not prepared. I was like, wow, this is fucking insane.
Yeah. And he was too stupid to realize that was fake.
Good this is going to end the war. It's going to be such a great video. Turned out to be a fake. Anyways, check out this shit. Large number of U.S.
If you see something that just plays out exactly what you're praying for, first thought is this AI?
U.S. Marines killed in a suicide drone plus missile mass strike by Iran. Complete elimination of American soldiers from their land.
Who is this guy? You're probably not alone in asking this. I mentioned he's Ryan Matta. This guy is inside Massie's home, a campaign from while wearing the swastika, cheers on American troops being kidnapped. This is a guy who's like one of the big supporters. He's like a big name supporter of. He's got more followers than I have.
And then I got another video over here that says, breaking, the Iranian Revolutionary Guard announces it has struck U.S. Marine forces on Kuwait's Budayan Island, causing injuries among American troops. So I don't know if that's the same thing they're talking about, but the Middle East is getting completely obliterated right now by choice, really. Iran told them exactly what they were going to do. Do not strike these energy facilities. 6 hours later, after President Trump gave a direct order and told Israel to stand down and we will not attack your energy facilities, they turned around and Israel 6 hours later blew them up. So now the Middle East is burning down thanks to Israel. Yeah, thanks to the United States, thanks for Trump, thanks to our government. It's an absolute shame.
An absolute shame. He's crying about that. He's crying about it. Unbelievable. These people are sickening. These are people who are America first. This is the real America first. You're not America first. They're real America first. Lunatics. So what are the criers all saying? You know, the real America first people like, you know, Cenk Uygur, the real America first people like Cenk Uygur. Israel won in Kentucky. They will 100% control the Republican Party now. They will not serve America. They will only serve Israel. Alternatively, Trump, who declared jihad against Massie, this is from Michael Tracy, who's like, he loves dousing people with like just reality sometimes. I don't always agree with him, but he's not a stupid person. Michael Tracy is not a stupid person. He's well thought out. I don't think he always gets it right, but he's not a stupid person. Trump, who declared jihad against Massie and has a 90% success rate at driving out Republicans he feels have crossed him, remains highly popular and influential among GOP primary voters in Kentucky. That's another possible take here. That a district which voted for him plus 40 still supporting him? It's possible. Here's more from Michael Tracy. This is him criticizing Tucker and Massie when Massie appeared on Tucker.
And by the way, the Trump administration could redeem themselves on this, but not by releasing 3 million more files. They've got to indict somebody. They've got to go in there. Look, go in there and investigate Leon Black or Jess Staley. There's enough information, even in the redacted files, that anybody with common sense knows that there needs to be an investigation of those two men.
On what grounds?
On the witnesses said they were sexually abused by those men.
Leon Black.
And
they who are those people again? One more time.
Leon Black or Jess Staley. There's
I don't know who these people are.
Enough information, even in the redacted files.
I have nothing. I literally, if instead of calling him Leon Black, he called him, Leon, Black Buns, I would have I have no idea who Leon Black is. Okay. But I thought this was funny what Massie said.
That anybody with common sense knows that there needs to be an investigation of those two men. What?
That's what he says. Everyone with common sense knows there needs to be an investigation.
That witnesses said they were sexually abused by those men.
And they've never been investigated, as far as you know.
As far as I know.
As far as I know, never been investigated. This is the person who's labeling Trump the Epstein class. So Michael Tracy reports, he's an independent reporter. It's funny because I actually think of him as the Massie of reporters, in that he basically is the fly in the punch bowl, or the turd in the punch bowl anywhere he goes. That's what he's notorious for. He probably would appreciate that description. Massie tells Tucker that the only way the Trump administration can redeem itself is not by releasing more Epstein files, but by indicting anybody for unspecified pedo crimes. He suggests Leon Black should be charged. Tucker asks on what basis. He says victims have alleged sexual abuse by Black. Those allegations against Black all derive from spurious, extortionate civil litigation that has either been dismissed with prejudice or so thoroughly discredited that a judge recently ruled, just on April 23rd, that the evidence was literally fabricated. He did a two-part series on that, which we're not going to look at now. Massie is demanding the Trump administration indict Leon Black on the basis of evidence that has been judicially determined to have been outright fabricated. That's what Massie is saying. How dare Trump not indict Leon Black? Until he does that, we're not forgiving him. That would be the only way for Trump administration to redeem itself, according to Massie. Massie also claims Leon Black and Jess Staley were never investigated, but they were. You know how we know that? It's in the Epstein files. He doesn't actually read the very files he loves to scream about so much. Freaking incredible. This is why, among many other reasons, I argue that he deserves to lose today. Well said. I actually have two more for Michael Tracy. Oh, this is more from his clip here. He really went to town on Massie.
And then the president vetoed a bill that would have brought water to a large portion of Colorado.
Over Epstein.
And this isn't even, at this point, it's not just about Lauren Boebert. Why are people in Colorado deprived of water? Because their representative wants to expose a sex trafficking ring.
I mean, none of this makes any sense at all.
That's a very serious charge.
All because it's a losing issue for Trump and has been. That was the beginning at the end, really. I think we're at the end of.
We're totally at the end. Totally at the end of Trump.
The 2024 campaign is just total betrayal of everything. But that began with Epstein last summer, and Trump's now famous attack on his own voters. If you think this is important to know more about Epstein, I don't want your support. Why do you think Epstein, of all issues, is the one that Donald Trump was willing to destroy his presidency over?
I don't know. I did it because it was the right thing to do.
Of course, I understand your motive, but the president pushed back. Now he's endorsed this campaign against you and your family, but really just sort of hurt himself on behalf of the memory of Jeffrey Epstein. There's something here, no? What is this?
I think he's changed some, and he's part. This is
all the people who turned never Trumpers, who turned not never Trumpers, really anti-Trumpers. The ones who turned real hardcore anti-Trumpers, they all he changed. That's what they love to say.
Promise of Donald Trump.
He's willing to negotiate on anything, including immigration. No. It's no problem. We'll give them citizenship. But when it comes to Epstein, it's no. And it does raise questions about how did Epstein die and who signed off on that? And why was Epstein rearrested, actually, for crimes he'd already been convicted of and brought back from France to the United States and then gets murdered in prison less than 2 months later? What is that? And maybe there's a connection, or I don't know. I'm just guessing. Like, what is this?
It's the people who are funding the ballroom, the people who are funding the arch, the people who are funding the rebranding of the Kennedy Center. These are the people who are also funding my opponent. These are the people who have the ear of the president. These are the people who are changing.
Those people. Those people. Those shadowy figures.
Dominating our foreign policy decisions. They're the billionaires. And these are also the same people who are in the Epstein files.
Are they? Give us the names. Is that Leon Black again? It's one thing for Massie and Tucker to engage in wild speculation about Epstein before an audience of millions. Ho-hum. What's really galling here is that Tucker intimates Tucker had Epstein murdered. Tucker then proceeds to misstate basic facts to support his wildly inflammatory intimation. Contrary to what Tucker states as though it were established fact, Epstein was not brought back to the United States from France in July 2019. He flew back on his own accord to Teterboro Airport, unaware that he had already been indicted by a grand jury and U.S. Marshals were waiting to arrest him. Epstein was not rearrested for crimes he had already been convicted of. In July 2019, federal prosecutors in the Southern District of New York expressly had to concoct a new set of crimes to charge Epstein with so as to circumvent the 2007-2008 federal non-prosecution agreement. Hence, while they charged Epstein for conduct that purportedly took place during the same period that his previous charge offenses were alleged to have taken place, roughly 2002 to 2005, the 2019 charges included a new federal nexus by alleging interstate crimes in New York. In fact, that's ultimately how they ended up getting Ghislaine Maxwell. Ghislaine Maxwell was brought up on those very same charges because they had the same non-prosecution agreement to contend with when they wanted to go after her. Epstein was federally charged with New York-based offenses for which he was never charged in 2006-2008. Tucker seems to believe he knows for certain that Epstein was murdered. That's possible, at least. And frankly, I believe, I'm pretty sure that he was murdered. But if he's so unwaveringly certain
and
on
folks,
this,
it's a difficult conversation for me because I really believed in this guy.
1 second. My apologies. I don't know why it is that my computer does that. It's very, very hard. Anyway.
And then the president vetoed.
I realize that most people do not know and do not necessarily even need to know these granular details, especially the legal technicalities. But if you're going to intimate that the sitting president had someone murdered in prison, is it too much to ask that you first have a grasp of the basic facts? Yeah. And finally, he does a breakdown. He says, if your narrative is that the Israel lobby or Jewish billionaires defeated Massie rather than President Donald Trump, without whom there never would have been a competitive primary in the first place, and his political operation coordinated the entire effort, you are dumb. Yep. At least recognize. And I'm sure, look, on this video, I'm likely to get some Massie supporters coming in there and just yelling at me that I'm an idiot and I don't know what I'm talking about. And that's fine. You're welcome to your opinion. You can hate watch me as much as you like. And, you know, we can agree to disagree on this particular topic, much as I was able to agree to disagree with Viva Fry when I spent an hour and 20 minutes debating with him today. I don't have a problem with that. I have no problem with that at all. But you're living in la-la land if you don't recognize that first, second, and third as to why Massie lost his seat today. It's because of Donald Trump and a jurisdiction that is beholden to Donald Trump. Yes, in May of 2026, not everyone is living in the Twitter sphere, living on social media, soaking up whatever your favorite influencer is telling you. But your day-to-day people, folks living their everyday lives in northern Kentucky, they still love Donald Trump. They still trust Donald Trump. Now, I'll tell you this. I think it's time for us to get out of Iran. I think we need to I want to see us winding down, get out of there. And there's certain things he said and done that I don't like, and you may not like. I don't like what he said about, potentially dialing it back on deporting people who have been here for a long time or people in certain industries. I don't like that at all. Certainly don't like the way he handled the Epstein thing. But as I told Viva today, there's like a dozen different things this guy has accomplished that I really, really, really like a lot. A lot. So, am I going to get everything I want from the President of the United States? Well, one day, if I manage to get 80 million people to vote for me to become president, then I will. Until that day happens, fairly certain that whoever's sitting in the Oval Office is unlikely to do everything I want them to do. Unlikely that anyone, unless you get 80 million votes, it's unlikely you're going to get someone, you're going to have a president that's going to do everything you like them to do. And one or two of those issues might be really big, hot button issues for you. This is a guy who's delivering on promise after promise. The first and foremost was immigration. You've got negative trending in immigration in 2025 for the first time in, 50 years. Getting rid of millions of illegals. And I don't care if they self-deported because they were incentivized or they were chased out of here with a baseball bat. I don't care. They're gone. That's all that matters. So, and hopefully that trend continues, and if anything accelerates going forward for the balance of his administration and into the next administration. Do I want to see the economy get stronger and inflation dial back? Am I frustrated with gas prices? Hell, yes, I am. I'm sane enough to recognize that and hopeful that these gas prices are a temporary thing, and that eventually, in the next few months, it'll come back to normal, what we expect it to be. But the reality is that, there's so many different accomplishments that he's had on the border with fighting against DEI, with fighting back against these colleges, with changing the culture of this country into there being an actual belief in the greatness of America and American exceptionalism, with the return of the strength of our military, with folks signing up in record numbers, with 8 different peace accords that he managed to reach. There's so many different things to just look at and sit in awe of how he's handled all of this. This is a guy who fought through 4 indictments in order to get back into the White House, and every time he has a ridiculous Congress, which is useless. A measure that has 80%, 87% popularity across parties. Can't get through in the Save America Act, can't get through the Senate. Every time he writes an EO, he has to basically send a team of lawyers in to fight against some stupid affected individual from the left and a district court judge from the left, and fight his way up to the appellate court in order to actually try and make this country a better place. So yeah, I'm actually terribly impressed with the job that he's done so far. Starting on day one, when he freed the J6 defendants who were wrongfully abused by a weaponized DOJ. Now, recently, just yesterday, turning around and trying to get them recompensed for that horror that was visited upon them by the evil, corrupt Biden administration. One win after another. No, I didn't like Pam Bondi. Yes, I want to see more big name people be indicted. But taking care of crime, sending in the National Guard to clean up Washington. These are all smart moves that were made by a president who knows how to do this better than anyone we've ever seen. So, is it shocking that he still retains enough gravitas in Northern Kentucky, where he was plus 40 in 2024, to oust an incumbent? It's pretty impressive. It's pretty impressive. Sean Davis saying, why did Massie lose tonight? Oh, Kimmy Hunt says, send you a post. Sean Davis made good points on why Massie lost. Look at this. I had it set up already. You and I are simpatico tonight. We're in the same zone. We're in the same headspace. You and me, Kimmy. Sean Davis made good points on why Massie lost, said maybe 2028 in his speech tonight. Barnes said maybe Kentucky governor. Happy about Georgia, and Scott Presler won his race in Pennsylvania. I thought he lost by 15 votes. That's what I saw. I saw he had lost. Sean Davis, why did Massie lose tonight? Massie went from principled libertarian during COVID to GOP leadership lapdog under McCarthy, to anti-Trump Epstein obsessive in 2025 after tweeting about that issue a whopping 3 times in the decade prior. The nail in the coffin for him was voting against OBBB in 2025 because, according to Massie, it did too much to secure the border. This is another thing that none of the Massie defenders have any justifiable explanation for how he's continually fighting Trump on trying to close the border. He's a libertarian, and he basically was like, people should be able to roam across our borders whenever the hell they want, which is insanity. It's an insane position. Trump mercilessly trashed Massie in 2020, calling him a disaster for America and Kentucky and saying he should be thrown out of the GOP entirely. But Massie easily swatted that away and won 81-19. So you can't say he only lost because of Trump. He went toe-to-toe with Trump on COVID in 2020 and won overwhelmingly. Massie lost because he went from being perceived as quirky but lovable nerd who seemed to genuinely believe everything he said to looking like a clout-chasing influencer who cared more about getting TV time with Democrats on an issue he clearly never cared about until 5 minutes ago than he did about representing his voters. Very well. It's like I think Sean is watching my show. We'll never know what caused this apparent personality change. Maybe it was the death of his wife. Maybe it was the McCarthy race followed by McCarthy ouster. Or maybe it was a desire for notoriety or media acclaim and a lucrative podcasting career outside of Congress. But the drastic change was undeniable, as was the seeming lack of interest in much of anything happening in Kentucky. Blame Trump, blame Israel, blame Epstein, blame the tragic death of the spouse. I don't care. You cannot just wave away 2020 Massie going face-to-face with Trump machine and winning in a rout only to get smoked 6 years later. Massie voters didn't really change all that much, but he did, and they noticed. So there you go. Check in with Ghetto, making sure I missed nothing there. Benny Johnson. Massie's done. Massie voted against tax cuts, the wall, ICE, deportations against the president's agenda. Massie's constituents elected Trump by a 40-point margin. Massie betrayed them. Tonight, Kentucky fired him for it. Let's check out his report here. I haven't watched this yet, so we'll see if this is going to keep me engaged.
That's it, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, that's loud.
Gentlemen, Thomas Massie has lost in a landslide defeat to Ed Gallerine, who is now the Republican candidate for the Trump plus 40 district in Kentucky 4. It's over. One of the most insufferable members of Congress, somebody who has annoyed me till kingdom come, and I'll show you why. Again, this has now been officially called. Decision Desk headquarters has called this decision made tonight at 7:41 p.m., approximately 1 hour after the polls closed. It's over. Thomas Massie can now go onto the speaking circuit for failed.
Welcome, cynic viewers. Welcome to the show.
Libertarians. And let me explain why this is nothing personal against Thomas Massie, as everybody tries to make this so personal. It has to do with practicality. It has to do with the reality of wanting to win. I want to win. I have a family. I have children. I want the Republican Party to win. I want Trump to win. Thomas Massie doesn't. Let me explain really quickly here why this is a good thing. This is Thomas Massie's Kentucky 4th Congressional District. Trump won it by 40 points. Let me repeat that. Trump won it by nearly 40 points. This is one of the strongest Trump districts in the entire country. Thomas Massie represents it. Yet Thomas Massie refuses to vote with President Trump or for President Trump's administration, their accomplishments, any of their major administration agenda items. Thomas Massie is constantly against. This is something that has been exposed by President Trump himself, by J.D. Vance, by Stephen Miller. It doesn't matter what it is. If Republicans need Thomas Massie on a vote, Thomas Massie will play the Democrat. Thomas Massie votes with Democrats 1 out of every 4 votes. That makes him the most Democrat member of the Republican caucus. He should just man up and switch parties and then try and run in a Trump plus 40 district. He'd never dare. He'd rather go on TV and say that President Trump's administration is the Epstein
Still
administration.
in with the Epstein class. This is the Epstein administration.
We saw this part already.
For trying to get
Taking Thomas Massie to the Woodhouse, explaining exactly what Thomas Massie actually stands for. The architect.
Very important subject.
This is the architect of MAGA. This is the
There's Stephen Miller there.
architect of President Trump's
Stephen Miller in the MAGA hat.
policies, right, in the White House. The accomplishments of President Trump in the White House is from Stephen Miller. He never does videos like this.
This
Listen.
is how Tom Massie betrayed America, betrayed you, and betrayed your children. The single most important issue affecting the future of our country is ending the mass third world invasion of America and reversing that invasion. And on the most important issue, on the most important vote, on the most important bill, on the most important day, Tom Massie sided with every House Democrat, every Senate Democrat, Hakeem Jeffries, Nancy Pelosi, and Chuck Schumer against President Trump, against the American people, and against you and your family. When the time came to vote for President Trump's signature border security and immigration enforcement bill, the bill to provide record funding for ICE and Border Patrol and mass deportation, Tom Massie voted no. Tom Massie voted to kill the bill. Tom Massie sided with the House and Senate Democrats over the sovereignty of this republic.
So this is how you get the results like tonight. Okay? This and one final thing, J.D. Vance explaining what it's like to work with Thomas Massie.
And Thomas was one of the people I was working closest with it. But that's one thing. Being independent, having your own opinions is one thing. Voting against the party on every single issue, you're eventually going to make too many enemies.
Yep.
And that is the problem that Thomas has had. It's not one issue. It's not 3 or 4 issues. It's that every time that we've needed Thomas for a vote, he has been completely unwilling to provide it.
There you go. And that's what playing politics is. This is what I tried to explain this morning, and everyone lost their mind on me. I don't think I've ever had so many reply guys up in my mentions talking about this post right here.
And it is an interesting thing that I'd like to have a conversation with you about. Like there is, I mean, seeing as how his career has 7 months left in it, it's an interesting question when you talk about principle and where you cave and where you don't cave. You know, the politics of things. Like the One Big Beautiful Bill, which is filled with disgusting pork. It's filled with disgusting pork. So you sort of have to decide how much pork am I swallowing versus what are my upsides here. Now, he would love to have line item voting. That we vote on this line, we vote on the next line, and line item voting. I would love that too. But I can sit here as a podcaster talking to you about what would be ideal. I can talk to you about what we should have, what we should be pushing for. I'm not sitting in the Capitol. I'm not sitting there presented with a bill that I need to vote on. And simply just being the voice of no, irrespective of what potential gains you have, it's not what a politician is. Now, you can hate politicians, and you should. What I'm saying is you sort of have to deal with the reality of what you're dealing with. And you're not going to get, you're living in a fantasy world if you think that you're going to get line item, voting. That's not going to happen. That's not happening in your lifetime. You're not going to see that. Now, you can hate that. You can hate that reality, but it is the reality that we're living in. It is in the foreseeable future. It's difficult to even imagine a day when Congress will be voting on bills line by line. If they were voting on them line by line, then you wouldn't need to have these pork bills, because you would just present each bill separately. The reason they shove everything in is because they want to avoid the line by line. And each of these stupid rhinos, each of these stupid Democrats, each of them all want to have their taste of pork. That's what they want. Because they feel like, this is how I solidify my power. This is how I can go back to my district and justify, I got you this. So they're not going to ever give that up, because they feel as if that's what helps them retain their power. That's the reality. Now, does that suck? Is that a weakness in our system? Yeah. Is that something that I wish we could change? Snap my fingers and change? 100%. But I'm sitting here talking to you as a podcaster. I'm not sitting there trying to figure out which way do I vote on a bill. I'm not sitting there with the responsibility of representing the interests of my plus 40 Trump voting district. And that's a completely different position. That you see that, the president has such wild popularity in your district, and you're routinely doing whatever you can to thwart his agenda, and calling him, the Epstein administration. Try to build your online popularity by basically describing how AIPAC and Israel are basically the bane of society. That's what's destroying this country. And the Epstein files are what's destroying it. When you don't ever read the Epstein files, you have no idea what the hell's in the Epstein files. There's millions of files there, but you have no idea what the hell's in there. So you sit there screaming about issues you never cared about 5 minutes ago, as if they're deal breakers. You don't know anything that's in there. You don't know anything about the victims that are in there. You just know that this is an issue that you can talk about that is very popular with the base that the base that Trump built. So he tangoed with Trump and he lost. He tangoed with AIPAC and he lost. And that's because he wasn't representing his district in the way that they were expecting to be represented. That's what we saw happen tonight. But it's an interesting question as far as what do you do with your principles? I don't think he was being true to his principles. There's a lot of evidence he was not being true to his principles. Some of the things he voted to increase with the Democrats to increase the debt ceiling. That's libertarian, concerned about our budget. Is you want to swallow that? So, yeah. Dan Bongino saying, turns out that Jimmy, Dave, Igor, Ryan, and an assortment of Jew-hating life losers, disgruntled libs, sexual deviants, leg humpers, drunks, and failed comedians really are in a great coalition for winning a conservative primary election in real life. Shocker. We didn't ask for this ideological war. They did, and we finished it. Matter of fact, we didn't even invite them to this party. They invited themselves, and then they crap in the punch bowl. Now they're playing dumb as to why we threw their asses out. Take your 1940s era agitprop BS, shove it up your sphincter, or go back where you came from with your river to the sea terrorist friends. These radical libs will welcome you back with open arms. Agitprop is their only thing. It is their only thing. Thanks. Have a great rest of your day. Big thanks to the real conservatives who saw through this BS. He's pissed. He's angry. We got this already. Tucker has promoted 5 candidates on his show recently. One dropped out, Paul Dans. Another came in 6th in his primary, Zink. Putsch lost a primary tonight in Ohio by 70%. Fishback is in Florida, is a con artist in serious legal trouble, polling at 6%. Only one left is Tom Massie. That was 2 weeks ago. Only one left is Tom Massie. Well, now Tucker is 0 for 5. There you go. The reality of it is that residents in Russia and Pakistan can't vote in primaries, so the online influence of the woke right disappears when elections come around. That's sharp. That's harsh. James Lindsay saying the meltdown is going to be very exciting. The truth is simple, though. Massie wouldn't have lost except for having gone woke right and thus going after Trump. Woke right and its unique brand of TDS are just not popular with the people, conservatives, the Republican Party, etc. I'll come back to that in a moment. Come back to that in a moment. Saying maybe, but look at the crosstabs. Was in a reply to Sean's tweet, breakdown by age and news source. The Sean Davis tweet, the crosstabs. I don't know what you mean by crosstabs, VSync. I'm pulling it up over here. I'm not sure. VSync, what do you mean by crosstabs? I'll check on you. I'll try to check on you in a moment. I haven't heard his concession speech yet. Let's see how long it is.
Listen, I would have come out sooner, but I had to call my opponent and concede, and it took a while to find Ed Galrein in Tel Aviv. I did get a call through, though. I have called and conceded the race. We've been honorable the whole time, and we're going to stay that way. You know, welcome to the most expensive congressional primary ever in the 250-year history of this country. It's not just the most expensive. This thing went on longer than Vietnam. It started 9 months ago, and they didn't even have a candidate, and they decided they want to take me out. I want to start by thanking the volunteers who have put so much effort into this.
Well, that's boring me. I don't care who wants to think.
Well, into this, some of you came from all across the country. Some of you are homegrown. Well, I love all of you. I see how this is going to work. I'm going to have to not quit talking or you'll start doing it. I want to thank my staff, too. Some of my staff have been with me from the very first race of 2020.
John Delaney saying, Che Guevara, most famous example of agitprop for youth who have no life experience. Yeah. Look at you, digging up history.
12, and they have done so much. we've never had, contrary to all the BS you've heard, we've never had a single ethics complaint filed against me or my staff in 14 years.
He's so on that. He was so bothered by that. And I'll tell you right now, I never played into that whole part. I thought that was.
I want to thank the donors. Now listen, I'd name them all, but there's 50,000 donors, okay?
Yeah, I'm bored too. I'm bored too. This is like the self-congratulatory stuff is just. Let me see if I can get to a part that's, if there's any part of this that seems remotely interesting. What I'll do is I'll pull up, I can get the actual. And get the actual transcript. And we'll see, and it'll probably be faster that if I just like look through that, but I have to do it in Chrome, and I'm watching with you in Brave over there. So that's why I sort of need to reopen this up in a different, in a Chrome thing. So let me come back to Chrome here. I'm doing a quick scan here to see if there's anything useful. Let's see if I can find. I heard he talked about the Democrats, and that's the part I really want to find.
First, America first. America first. America first. America first. America first. By the way, you remember that organization that Klaus Schwab started called the World Economic Forum? They said you should eat bugs. Do you want to eat bugs? They said you'll own nothing and be happy about it. You want to do that? Well, guess what happened? Guess what happened to Klaus's CEO? He was in the Epstein files. He had to resign. We took out the CEO of the World Economic Forum with a 2-page bill.
Hey, Vincent, I don't know how to find those demographics that you reference.
What else are we for? Look, for years I've been standing up for the Second Amendment, the First Amendment, the Fourth Amendment, the Fifth Amendment, the 10th Amendment. I just realized the Seventh Amendment is under attack. It's because I serve on the Judiciary Committee. The Seventh Amendment is your right to a jury trial. They've taken it away for vaccines. If you get hurt, you can't sue for vaccines. They're trying to take it away for pesticides.
This is where he should have stayed. This is where he should have stayed.
No.
This is where he should have stayed.
We've been fighting that back. So that's an amendment that, frankly,
instead of investing all his efforts in fighting against Trump, this is where he should have stayed.
I was going to have to fight for it, but I've been fighting for it in D.C., and we need to keep fighting for the Seventh Amendment too. These corporations want get out of court free cards. We're not going to give them one. what else is part of our coalition? Cutting Doge, cutting spending. They ran Doge out of town.
All the stuff he's bringing up are from before he basically just went off the deep. No, he left the reservation and basically started going after Trump.
Elon Musk found out it was easier to land a rocket backwards. It was easier to get a car to drive itself. It was easier to put internet on Antarctica than it was to cut $100 of spending in Washington, D.C. It's a tough problem, but we're not going to give up on that either. MAGA. Is anybody here for MAGA? Does anybody want to eat poison? Do you want the government telling you what to eat? Do you want the government telling you to put a needle in your arm? I don't either. That's why I've been fighting all of that stuff.
Yeah, this is this is the Thomas Massie this is how he earned his popularity originally.
We need food freedom. We need medical freedom. We need all.
All right, is there anything else here?
And that was just 6 months. I got 7 months left in Congress. Wait, hey, when did bipartisanship become a dirty word in this country? It never should be. By the way,
really,
I'm not even sure that I'm bipartisan. Bi means you like both. I might be transpartisan because I can't.
Yeah, he is transpartisan. That's the problem. Then you wonder why you lost. This is why he lost. He's transpartisan.
I can identify with either some days. That's the great thing about the polls being closed. I can't run an ad where I claim to be trans.
You don't have to run an ad where you're claiming to be trans. Why would you? So apparently your voters notice that you're transpartisan.
Transpartisan, thank you very much. I don't know which cloakroom to go in. So, but look, if you know, I bet you've been through, some of you study political science. By the way, that's not a real science. I'm a political science denier. If you're already halfway through that degree, double major in theater and call it political theater. Then you could serve on the oversight committee, the judiciary committee.
And then you can become very popular on X.
You can be on the whip team. What's the difference between a used car salesman and a member of the whip team? The used car salesman knows when he's lying. They go around telling everybody, oh, that good stuff's in the bill. Oh, that bad stuff's not in the bill. I don't blame them. They haven't read the bill. They're not lying. They don't know they're lying. Anyways, bipartisanship, we need to bring this country together. There's too much of the.
What part of what you did here brought the country together? What part? Just tell me, what part? Your attempts to fracture MAGA, is that bringing the country together? Is that bringing the country together? What are you talking about?
Uniparty in Washington, D.C. What we need is a unity party. Look, we ran a race that you can be proud of. You have to apologize to nobody tomorrow for anything you did. And we kept smiling the whole time.
Really?
When I was called a moron at the prayer breakfast, I said, I'm glad I'm in his prayers. just that would be my advice to you all. Don't dig in. Don't get mad. Don't even try to get even. Just stay on your course. Get our stuff done. Get the things you care about done. We weren't really running against Ed Galrine. We weren't running against Donald Trump. We were running for what we believe in.
Yeah. You were running for clicks. That's what you were running for. You were running for clicks. A lot.
Listen.
And to be fair, I think he'll have a very successful career as a podcaster.
If you always vote with the president, if the legislative branch always votes with the president, we do have a king. If the legislative branch always votes whichever way the wind is blowing, then we have mob rule. But if the legislative branch and the representatives and the senators that serve with it always follow the Constitution, we have a republic.
There we go, using the Constitution as a prop again.
USA.
All right. Well, I think that's enough of him. I think we had enough. When I start getting bored of him, I assume you're starting to get bored of him. There's other stuff that happened tonight. Other stuff that's been going on in the world that I wanted to call to your attention, because this is Trump's world we're living in. And he reminded the world of that today, not just in Kentucky, but in Texas as well. In Texas as well. Trump finally endorses Paxton, upending Senate GOP plans in the Texas race. There you go. Trump endorsing Paxton. Oh, nice. Oh, nice. Hold on 1 second. I just want to make sure this tab that I thought was on the other set. Okay. I found it. We're good. CNN reporting. President Donald Trump on Tuesday endorsed Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton in his primary challenge to Senator John Cornyn, dealing a massive blow to the incumbent with major implications in the fight for the Senate majority. Cornyn has spent over a year courting Trump's support, while Paxton has run to Cornyn's right and pitched himself as a stronger ally of the president. Cornyn and the Senate GOP leaders argue that he's the stronger general election candidate as Democrats look to win statewide office in Texas for the first time since 1994. The runoff is a week away and early voting begins Monday. I know Ken well. We've seen him test at the highest, most difficult levels, and he's a winner, Trump said in a lengthy Truth Social post. Let's see what he wrote. The highly respected Attorney General of Texas, Ken Paxton, an America First patriot and someone who's always been extremely loyal to me and our amazing MAGA movement, is running for the United States Senate to represent a place I love and won big 3 times with 6.4 million votes in 2024, the most votes in the history of the state by far. I know Ken well. We've seen him tested at the highest and most difficult levels and is a winner. Ken is a strong supporter of terminating the filibuster and, very importantly, the Save America Act, something which polls at 87%. This is why he ended up voting for Paxton. Paxton, who told Cornyn, get this thing passed and I'll drop out of the race. You can get another 6 years. Just get it passed. No. Including Democrats, and yet can't get approved. Perhaps Ken can help move these important elements of government forward, because with the filibuster, as an example, the Democrats will terminate on their first day in office, giving us 2 extra states, D.C. and Puerto Rico, and a greatly enlarged Supreme Court of the United States, probably going with a dream number of 21 justices from the 9 that we currently have. And these new justices will be radical left lunatics. 2 years ago, our country was dead. Now we have the hottest country anywhere in the world, and I want to keep it that way. Ken Paxton will help me do that, making America bigger, better, and stronger than ever before. Oh, this does go on and on. We're not even halfway through. True MAGA warrior, always delivered in Texas and will continue to do so in the U.S. Senate. Tirelessly fights to continue the great growth of our economy, cut tax and regulations. I just delivered the largest tax and regulation cuts in American history. And advance made in the USA, unleash American energy dominance, champion Texas oil and gas. It goes on and on. Now, he actually gives kindness to Cornyn and being a good man. I worked well with him, but he was not supportive of me when times were tough. And despite having the most successful economy in the history of our country during my first term, and with all the many other things I accomplished, secure border, military dominance, Space Force, all-time high stock markets, and 401ks, record job, blah, 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 which are considered by many to be legendary, John was very late in backing me in what turned out to be a historic run for the Republican nomination and then the presidency itself, both of which were landslide victories. So, and then going back to Ken Paxton, how he's going through a lot, but he's a fighter. He knows how to win. Etc. So, Vice President J.D. Vance, appearing at White House press briefing on Tuesday afternoon, said Trump's endorsement pact sends a message to elected officials who fall out of step with voters or out of step with the president. It's not a good place to be politically, Vance said. Democrats have been eyeing the Texas Senate seat in their uphill battle to capture the chamber majority, and the state becomes particularly enticing if the scandal-plagued Paxton defeats Cornyn. Paxton's not losing. Talarico's tough. I think he's going to be tough. I think Talarico will be tough, but I don't think Paxton's losing. The morning after Cornyn finished narrowly ahead of Paxton in the primary, Trump said he would make an endorsement soon and that he expected the other candidate to drop out. But Trump was frustrated that his plans to endorse Cornyn were shared with the press, and within days, Paxton made a somewhat risky bet, promising to consider dropping out of the runoff if Senate Republicans abolish the filibuster to pass Trump's voting bill. Cornyn said he was open to tweaking the filibuster to pass legislation, but Paxton's play appeared to sway Trump, who signed the endorsement, was on hold until the Senate approved the bill. In teasing his endorsement earlier Tuesday, Trump had told CNN's Elena Treen he had pretty much always known who he was going to endorse. I just thought this was a good time. Paxton said he was incredibly honored to have Trump's endorsement. Do you know what this did? Do you know what this did? The Texas Republican Senate primary, according to Poly Markets. You got to look at this thing with me. This is astonishing. Well, this is not going to see nothing there. Starts over here. Neck and neck. Ken Paxton, John Cornyn. Ken Paxton, John Cornyn. This is last July. Paxton had a nice lead. And then, oh, that just flipped. Cornyn ended up going in front. Back and forth. Back and forth with each other. Back and forth. Paxton back up to 61%. Cornyn down to 28%. And then, look at this. This has been a crazy race. Paxton got all the way up to 84%. Cornyn down to 13%. And then crashing down on March 5th. Literally flipped places. Cornyn went to 89%. And as we fast forward, we're coming into April and May. May 12th, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Paxton's got a nice 62-39 lead. And then you have today. Yesterday was 63-37 Paxton. Oh, my. Oh, my. Oh, my. 95% chance with Trump's endorsement. Paxton has a 95% chance of winning now. That was astonishing. Astonishing. 95%. Because it's Trump's world. You're just living in it. It's Trump's world. You want to know why that is? Someone mentioned earlier, who was? Someone mentioned, I think it was Wellesley, mentioned 5-0 for Trump endorsements today. I said, that's not even the beginning of it. According to Tony here, saying that he didn't go 5-0, 6-0, 10-0, 12-0. No. That today, 21 endorsed, maybe that was 21 endorsed, Trump endorsed candidates won their primaries today. 21. MAGA is alive and well. Now, a lot of these are names you never heard of before, like Hal Rogers. And maybe a bunch of these would have won even without his endorsements. You know, James Comer probably wins in Kentucky without the endorsement. But, yeah, Andy Barr, he was the one who ran to replace McConnell. McConnell dropping out. It's because of his obviously deleterious health issues. So Barr is running to take it. Barr got Trump's endorsement, and sure enough, Barr wins. Over and over again. Trump endorses you, you're gonna win. These are the people saying MAGA's dead. MAGA is not dead. MAGA is every bit as strong as it was. The boomers and the big money globalists cost this man his seat. That generation's goal is to immolate this country before they exit the stage, LOL. Is that what you think? Is that what you think? What about the fact that he didn't actually care about what his own constituents wanted? Maybe that's what cost him his seat. Look inward. Look inward. Instead of crying about other people, look inward. Look to yourselves. Look to yourself, Tom Massie. Look to yourselves. Instead of crying about AIPAC or Trump, look to yourselves. If he had actually stayed true to what his constituents wanted, here's the reality. I said this a long time ago, and I'll probably say it again sometime. If you're looking for someone who is the right leader for a particular locale, that right leader is not necessarily the right leader for that locale at all times. It depends on what his constituents are and who he is. Now that leader, he, I guess, or she, I know, it's possible. I'm thinking like Harriet Hageman, for example. Phenomenal leadership that you see from her. They have to be the right leader for the right time and the right group of people to be representing them. A leader is someone who's not going to be looking to what their constituents say. He says, this is the way we're going to go, and this is what's the right thing to do right now. Follow behind me. Now, in the House, it's a little bit trickier because you're one of 435. It's not like you're a governor. It's not like you're basically you're a small piece of an overall vote. But when the person who might be the right leader at a certain time, if he's true to his principles, that's the only chance you have at all of the person being a healthy, good leader. That they have to have a set of principles that they remain true to. Now that right leader, who's the right leader for this particular group of people, if his principles deviate from what their principles are, even if you might like that person, he's not your leader, he's theirs. His principles deviated, or at looking at him most kindly. I've been very harsh on Tom Massie over the last couple of weeks. I know, I have been. And today, Viva Fry accused me of attaching motive or guessing at motive when I felt, I'm like, look at the evidence. Tell me what else could be why we're seeing what we're seeing here. Give me a different explanation. different plausible explanation for what we're seeing. But you don't need to like attach motive to or anything of that nature if you want to look at what did his constituents want. They very strongly agreed with President Trump. Very, very strongly. And he spent the last year and a half showing that he is going to deviate and stand in the way of what Trump is trying to accomplish. So if you're sitting there saying, hey, I really want Trump to be able to go forward and push his agenda forward, I don't want a representative who's going to be obstructing that. Even if he has principles, even if I believe that he's actually acting based on principles, not based on a personal vendetta, which some people think he is, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, he's not the right leader for me right now. Because what I want and what the people around me, living around me, want is someone who's going to go along with what Trump is saying. Going along with whatever it is that he wants to do, whether it's on tariffs, whether it's on the war in Iran. That's what they want. So that being the case, he's not the right leader for the 4th District of Kentucky anymore. Maybe he once was. I don't know how closely they pay attention. Maybe, you know, you see what he was saying during COVID. A lot of things he was saying during COVID are things that most of MAGA was saying. But the stuff that he's saying now, you're sitting here saying that boomers and big money globalists cost this man his seat. No, Donald Trump cost him his seat. When you start coming to grips with that, the same way 20 other people basically can look and see, hey, look, this guy's influence, you might think that MAGA is dead. You can pretend that MAGA is dead. This guy's influence is dominating race after race in Republican primaries. So he is easily the most powerful person in the Republican Party in its history. In its history. He's the most powerful person in the Republican Party's history. More than Reagan, more than Lincoln. He is the most influential person in the Republican Party. He's got more votes to be president of the United States than any person in history. If you look at his 3 elections, I understand that, yeah, okay, fine, he had 3 elections. But he had to win primaries to get there. He had to have success to get there. No one gifted him the Republican nominations. So whatever you might hate about Trump or find objectionable about him, the reality is he is the most influential person. You could sit there crying about AIPAC or Israel or Bibi or boomers or whatever it is you want to, or globalists. The reality is he was serving in a district that is very loyal to the most influential man in the history of the Republican Party. And that's why he lost. Come to grips with that. Now you can take some solace. It doesn't seem likely that he's going to have much interest in politics. His interest will likely wane for the next election in 2028. In 2030, it's hard to imagine he's going to be looking to, I don't know, maybe he'll be selling his endorsements at that point. But yeah, it's hard to imagine that no one else but Trump could have gotten Massie removed. And I don't care how many tens of millions AIPAC or anyone wants to throw at his opponent. It's Trump. Come to grips with that. He didn't lose by 10 votes. He lost by 10,000 out of 100,000. That's pretty thorough trumping. Pardon the pun. Look who's here. I'm going to send you a link if you want to pop on in here. You don't have to. But I was sharing out your work. I opened the show. I was sharing out your work very early on. That is Sean Farash. Sean Farish, sorry, not Farash. I learned that the last time he was here. Who was, if you missed the beginning of the show, he was in 7th Heaven tonight. But this seat, everyone, the crybaby sore losers want to say it's about the boomers, or they want to say it's about Israel, or the Jews, or the globalists, or the World Economic Forum, or Bibi. And they're basically sitting there when they're not listening to Candace Owens or Dave Smith telling them how they're supposed to think and what they're supposed to believe, ignoring the fact that this was a plus 40 jurisdiction, plus 40 for Trump. So when Trump is saying, you gots to go, they're going to listen, especially when he gives good reasons, especially when what he's saying is justifiable. And look at the success that he had. He's the most dominant force the Republican Party has ever seen. It's not close. No pressure to pop in here, but I'm going to send you a link, Sean. I'm sure my audience would love to hear from you. Andrew Branca sent me a text saying good riddance to Massie. I'll send him one too. I don't know if he's in the audience. Having a nice little party tonight. I urge you guys to check out Sean Farash. Sean, I'm always going to call you Farash. I hope you don't mind that. Sean Farash. He does great political commentary. What does the influence of the Republican Party have to do with the price of tea in China or the price of gas here or the lack of deportations or the price of homes? What do you mean the lack of deportations? What the hell does that even mean? The lack of deportations. Oh, it's boo-hoo. It's not going fast enough for you? What steps would you take to make it go faster? The price of gas here, people assume is a temporary thing. That's a glitch. That's the reality. They assume it's a temporary thing. No one's happy with the price of gas. I'm not happy with the price of gas. You're not happy with the price of gas. No one's happy with the price of gas. But people assume it's a glitch. And that this situation in Iran will be remedied shortly and we'll go back to our $2.50 a gallon. So gas prices came crashing down when he came in. Why should we assume it's not going to be remedied when we get out of Iran? Which will hopefully be very soon. Price of homes skyrocketed long before Donald Trump came in there. I agree with you, the housing market is a mess. If you think that that's something the president can just snap his fingers and fix, you're out of your mind. See, this is, you want to make an unrealistic wish list as to how our country is supposed to operate, what the president is supposed to do, and then say he failed me, he turned on me. That doesn't make any sense. I agree with you, the price of houses is insane. It's insanely high. It's very hard for young people to conceive how they're ever going to buy a house. And that has to change. But you're sitting here saying, that the price of houses on him? You remember the suggestions that Kamala Harris had to bring down the price of houses, that she was going to give people $50,000, which the only thing that would result in happening is that the housing market would increase by $70,000? So we'd be even broker as we borrow more money and your dollar be worth even less, and the price of houses would just increase. Her stupid ideas. If you have a suggestion as to how to fix the housing pricing, I think we're all ears. I mean, one thing that we can do is stop foreign countries from being able to buy any property. I remember you tell me Thomas Massie had a suggestion that was ignored about how to fix the housing crisis? Joe, my point with the list is that Trump isn't fixing this, not blaming him, but Congress isn't going to fix this either. I agree with you on that. I agree with you. Congress is useless. If you can't pass the Save America Act, you're useless. You're really, really useless. I did have some good news for you all, besides what we covered so far. And that is, look at that. What a nice little surprise. What a nice little surprise. I'm going to bring this headline as I bring in my little surprise here. First, I just want to share this with you. Raffensperger fails to secure a runoff spot in Republican primary for Georgia governor. Hells yeah. Hells yeah. Isn't that great news? How are you?
I'd say so. I would say that's pretty good news.
This is the guy, if you don't remember the name Raffensperger, he's the guy who was on the phone with with Trump in that hour and 2 long minute conversation.
Yeah, the quote unquote find the votes call, right?
Yes. Yeah. Which if you listen to that, he basically, it's evident if you listen to like 5 minutes instead of just 11-second clips, it's evident that he's like, there was 6,433 votes here. There was 7,287 there. There's 14,000 people here. I don't need you to go through all of it. I just need 12,000. Find the votes.
Right. Yeah, I remember that. I remember that call. Happy to see him take a dive tonight. That was nice.
Yes, he's a terrible slimy. He's your classic rhino. And I've told my audience, by the way, Ed Galrein's a slimy rhino. I don't have anything good to say about Ed Galrein. The only thing he has is that he's not Massie.
Right. That's what it was. Ed Galrein wasn't Thomas Massie, and the district was looking for somebody who was not Thomas Massie. And listen, after 14 years, I mean, I don't live there, but after 14 years, I guess people had enough. Plus, as you just mentioned, Donald Trump endorsed the opponent, and Donald Trump owns this election cycle, period. You can't tell me MAGA is dead and then look at Indiana, Bill Cassidy, and Thomas Massie all over the last month. There's like 3 or 4 weeks. You can't tell me MAGA is dead when this guy's out here calling the shots, right? I mean, one of those 8 people slipped through the cracks in Indiana, barely. So
he tells states to redistrict, and their legislatures just snap to attention, and they're like, "What? Like, we better do this."
And you know what? You can make the argument. Anyone can make the argument that, hey, maybe a president shouldn't, like, quote unquote, have the power to do that. But he doesn't have the power to do that. He has the influence to do that. That's the difference. He can't actually make them do it as the president. He can't say by royal decree, redistrict. He said, redistrict if you know what's good for you. And they did. You know, I mean, this guy grew up in New York. He grew up around the mob. He knows what influence looks like. I'm not saying he's threatening to kill these people, but he knows how to throw his weight around, and he's doing it effectively. And
the influence he acquired, I mean, look, he obviously has an indefinable charisma to him, which just resonated to launch him. But the influence that he has now is because he's had so many wins, so many successes in the political scene. So many of his EOs were completely consistent with what MAGA was craving, with trying to, whether it's curing DEI or closing the border or deporting people, paying people to leave, ICE, National Guard in DC, one thing after another, one win after another that he's been generating, that MAGA has been, oh, hell yeah, oh, hell yeah, oh, hell yeah. And there's certain things I'm sure you, like I, are, we're disappointed in, like Pam Bondi, the failure to secure any big, that was a terrible choice by him. When he made, I don't know how you felt when he made comments about, like, some people have been living here for illegals have been living here for a long time. Or who work in certain industries. We need to leave them here.
When he said that last year, there was one point in time where he said, like, leisure and hospitality, and I went berserk on X, and I was like, listen, there are disagreements with Trump, and then there's this. If you go back on this, I'm going to be very and started going nuts. And I mean, a lot of people, over the course of a weekend, it was trending the whole weekend, and not just because of me, but a lot of people were upset about it.
Right.
He pivoted back away from leisure and hospitality and said, you know what, never mind. Let's not do that. That was a Brooke Rollins idea. And he pivoted away from that. So I give him credit for listening, right? Bondi was a problem. I don't like his newfound advocacy for FISA. I understand military. I'm not into it. Like, you want my communications, you better get a warrant. Like, that's the way it's supposed to be.
And not from some invented court like the FISA courts.
Exactly, right? So I'm not into that. But you know what? I'm into 95% of it, okay? And Reagan's rule was like 80-20. So this far surpasses that threshold.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that threshold is absolute and that everyone must live by it, but I'll agree with the guy more times than not. Oh, you still support him after he did this? Yes. He may have done something or said something that I don't like, but I like 95% of the other things he does. So yes, I still support him. It's really not that hard to understand.
Yeah. Even the whole Iran thing. I mean, my take on this, and I haven't had a chance to hear your take on this. My take on Iran has been this. First and foremost, you get a kill shot on Khomeini, you grab that. You're crazy if you don't. This is a guy that everyone in the world who's been following the Middle East says that, you know, he was the principal destabilizing factor there.
Yes.
And a danger to Americans and to you know, allies. And we didn't even realize that his missile range covered all of Europe. Yep. He basically had ballistic missiles he could have fired at Europe anytime.
And we found that out when they launched on Diego Garcia.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why what blew my mind was Italy and Germany. They were like, nah. I'm like, do you understand you're in the radius, like well within the radius? And
yeah,
Europe.
Yeah.
Europe's going to Europe.
Yeah. So, but at the same time, I was like, you know, you tell me you need 6 weeks, I'll give you 6 weeks, because, you know, you don't just kill the leader and then just, you know, let the place go to hell in a handbasket.
Sure.
But I was like, I was like, if we're there in the summer, we're cooked. We're done. I'm like, the midterms are going to be a bloodbath if we're still in Iran in the middle of the summer.
Yeah, and I have said the deadline for me was Memorial Day weekend. If gas was still high by Memorial Day weekend, it's going to hurt.
Yeah.
And it's going to still be, all right? It's not going to, nothing,
Yeah.
there's going to be no magic wand that's waved over the next 4 days that's going to do anything. So now we have to absorb that. And it's got to get wrapped up. You know what? This is one of those things where, like, I am starting to get impatient with this cycle. We're going to bomb them. Please don't bomb us. Let's make a deal. They're making a deal. They sent us the deal. We don't like the deal. We're going to bomb them. And we recite. This has been going on for 6 weeks now.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm like, something's got to give. Now, this time, when he called off the attacks, it was because of the Gulf allies. They have not been that much, you know, they have not been that involved in peace resolution in the process up until now. So I'm willing to look at this and say, okay, different batch of countries. It's not Pakistan. Different batch of countries. Maybe we get a different result. You know, it's a new variable. We haven't seen what happens when the Gulf allies try and force a peace deal.
Right.
So let's see. That could be what it takes to get the Strait of Hormuz under control. And if a peace deal does come through the Saudis or the Gulf countries,
UAE.
I mean, it could have a very, it could have a better effect on gas than if it was Pakistan who brokered the deal, right?
True.
So we'll see. But
True.
I'm not holding my breath when it comes to Iran. I don't trust them. I guess in 6 weeks, we've gone through this cycle now since the ceasefire of bombs, deal, no deal, bombs. It's like we keep going around and we never actually do anything. So the blockade, they've obviously been able to withstand the blockade for longer than a lot of people thought when it started.
Everyone told us that by the beginning of May, they would have to shut down the refineries.
Right, and
we
they
haven't heard
haven't.
anything. We haven't heard anything about that.
Right. So Besant alluded a couple days ago that like they were running out of storage, but I'm not saying the blockade is not effective. We can't wait, right? Like the appetite of the country is long past. They want this wrapped up. So hopefully we get it wrapped up soon. And if it's the Gulf states that bring about the peace deal, it may actually have a better impact on gas globally because of the skin in the game that they have that Pakistan doesn't have, right? So we'll see what happens.
And I'll tell you that I don't mind if he leaves Israel there saying, okay, you guys pick this up now. And
mow the lawn. You know, it's your backyard. Mow the lawn.
Yes. I don't mind if he says that, but we cannot have American troops there.
No.
My birthday's the end of June, and I said if we're still there by my birthday, we have real problems. I guess the latest would be July 4th, but I want him out now. I'm tired.
They've got to be out.
I don't want anyone to think I'm moving the goalpost. That I'm like,
No.
you know, that I'm like, no, we need to be out. It's time.
I wanted this wrapped up on Memorial Day weekend. It's not going to happen by Memorial Day weekend unless we do get a deal, you know, tomorrow or Thursday and it's brokered by the Saudis. It's still not going to have an impact on gas prices, but if we get the troops out of there by Memorial Day weekend, it's great optics, right? Because Memorial Day is you're remembering the fallen in war, right? So it would be, you know, not necessarily conveniently timed because of gas prices, but there would be a good coinciding message there. And a great way to start off America 250. If we don't get it done by, you know, Memorial Day, it has to get done by July 4th.
Yeah.
Has to.
That would totally.
You are not going to get people out here waving the flag. I mean, I will be. I love my country, but like, the country doesn't want a war. They don't. Right. Yeah. So we got to get it wrapped up by then. And I would think, you know, if this falls through, Trump has just got to say, you know what? Screw it. Just want a primary in Kentucky. Raffensperger's out. Cassidy's out. Indiana Senate. My political capital is at an all-time high. Paxton is gonna win his primary. Just bomb him and do what you got to do. No boots on the ground. I'm with you on that.
Rip the Band-Aid off.
Rip the Band-Aid off. Perfectly said. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what you got to do. Yeah. You can't. You can't anymore. By the way,
what did you play at the beginning of the stream? By the way, I didn't see it.
I played both things from you. I had you. I had you dancing.
Oh.
And to YMCA.
Hell yeah.
And I also had your Trump impression where you were.
We had fun. I had fun tonight. I was cooking and I had a nice roast beef. It was just great. And Massie, I was sitting on the couch and I'm going like this with Decision Desk, just watching the numbers. The race got called and I was like, I need the YMCA now. My wife's laughing her ass off. She's outside. She's like, what are you doing? I'm like, Massie lost. Let's go. So I've never, ever filmed myself dancing before. Like I felt like a 13-year-old girl on TikTok. Right?
You should upload it to TikTok.
I was like, screw it. This is great. And it's going to make the right people were mad. They were like, you know, how gay that looks. And I was like, I mean, looks a little gay, but it's, you know, I was like, but gay is happy, right? You know,
gay
so I was very
happy.
happy. Yes.
Gay is happy.
They were like, this is embarrassing. I'm like, in any other circumstance, yes. But Massie lost, so we have to have fun. And I did, you know, and Kentucky bourbon and the whole 9 yards. So
no, of course. It's, you know, it's very important in case there's anyone on the internet who's not yet seen it.
That's right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. See ya. So it's a good time.
It was so good. I saw that you and Viva were getting into it. I know that you've been on his show. I don't know if you saw, I debated him today on that.
I saw that he posted that, and I didn't see how it went though, but I would imagine you did pretty well because
I got pretty good feedback. I was expecting that his audience would be killing me. But I mean, I got into a whole thing with him about Massie's stance on tariffs and the war and just continually being obstructionist and going on. And he's sitting there and he's trying to get from me the places where I agree with Massie. So he's like, oh, so you like him dialing it back on deporting people? I was like, hell no. You know, he's basically trying to find that common ground where I'm basically to get me to turn on Trump. And I'm like, I can look at a dozen different things that he did that I love.
Sure.
And I know that I'm there. When am I ever going to find a president again who gets this many wins and fulfilling what he promised me he was going to do? So yeah, at a certain point, you basically have to say, don't be a spoiled child who it's like, well, because I didn't get everything I want, you suck, I hate you, you're a turncoat, you left me. I was like, Viva, you left MAGA. You think that MAGA left you or Trump left you. And I'm telling you, you and your folks, you left MAGA. This is the thing I pointed out to him. I was like, look, 4 years ago, Robert Barnes was so bothered by Nick Fuentes, and he debated him, and he came to me afterwards on my show as a fledgling channel at the time, and he's like, the reason I went there is that everyone should understand that kind of crap does not belong in MAGA. It's got nothing to do with America First. It's got nothing to do with MAGA, and that he's not part of MAGA. And now, like in the Massie camp, Nick Fuentes is a moderate. I mean, he is. He's
in many
like,
ways,
he's saying things like if you're blaming every problem in the world on Israel, there's something wrong with you. And it's like he's identifying.
When Nick Fuentes is saying that, you know, you got a problem.
When Nick Fuentes is the voice of sanity, I was like, how is it that you're not? How are you not turned by this? Like your stomach just revolted. I can't. I told him. I said I can't tell you how many times I get today that like my time is coming when all the Jews are going to be chased out of this country, because and that assumptions that my support for Trump, which has been going on for 10 years, now is because I'm Israel first. It's like it's so retarded.
It's unbelievable.
So dumb.
And you know what? It's funny. They are these people with the Israel stuff. They're one hit. I call them one hit wonders. They sing one song.
Yeah.
That's it. Israel Epstein, Israel Epstein, Israel Epstein. It's the same song.
It's the exact.
If you continue to hear the same, exactly, or Israel first, or like Jew or whatever, that's the new racist or pedo protector, or whatever, and Israel's the new Russia. It's the same thing, right?
Yeah.
Oh, 2016, we have a Russian puppet in the White House. 2026, we have an Israeli puppet in the White. You're just replacing the country. I see exactly what you're doing, right? Like.
Instead of Putin's puppet, it's Bibi's puppet.
It's Bibi's puppet. It's the same. Just you're swapping out players on a depth chart. That's all it is. This is Madden. You're playing a video game. You're like, okay, Michael Vick's my quarterback. No, John Elway's my quarterback. That's it. That's all you're doing. You're just moving pieces around, and a lot of people don't see it. They're like, it's not as simple as that. No, it's quite simple. That's exactly what it is. Donald Trump is not owned by Bibi Netanyahu. Donald Trump was not owned by Vladimir Putin. Russia didn't call the shots. Israel doesn't call the shots. Yeah. Like, the Russians don't have AIPAC. They don't lobby. You don't think the Russians have influence in American politics? Okay. Then why the hell did Vladimir Putin endorse Kamala Harris if you don't think the Russians want to influence American politics?
We've been hearing for the last 15 years how every election they influence. The question is how much influence they have.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not saying Israel doesn't lobby. Like, okay, a lot of countries lobby in U.S. politics, right? I would like that to stop. On all fronts, not just one front, right? Mm-hmm. So it's like, get rid of AIPAC. Wait. While we're doing that, why don't we just get rid of all of them? Mm-hmm. And say that only constituents can donate to politicians and things like that, and then you're talking about
AIPAC is. That's the thing is AIPAC is constituents. It's actually Americans.
It's American. Israel. That's what the A stands for. American Israeli PAC.
That part gets lost.
I asked some tool bag in a DM me on Instagram today and was like AIPAC, and I was like, you need to tell me what the first A in AIPAC stands for, and he wouldn't answer, and I was like, listen. I'm not going back and forth with you. I'm about to go for a run and go get really sweaty in the garage, okay? If you don't tell me this now, I'm muting these messages and you're never going to hear from me again. And he didn't say I just muted him. He's probably sent me 15 or 16 messages ever since. They won't answer that question because it destroys their whole narrative. Really? American Israeli PAC? So you mean that there's Americans, many of whom are probably Jewish, who feel a connection to their homeland, fine, who want to lobby on behalf of our relationship with that country.
Yeah.
Okay. It's a cause. It's a cause like anybody else's cause.
And if you want to tell me that you want to ban every country's, lobbies by Americans on behalf of every country.
Where do I sign?
Totally.
Where do I sign?
I would love to.
Well, what about Israel? No. Fine. No foreign countries can lobby in the United States. You're not going to get me to protest that. I'm going to say,
seriously.
Okay.
And while we're at it, let's take out big tech. Let's take out big pharma. I don't want any of these people lobbying. I don't want any of them. And they're much bigger. They're much bigger players in this whole thing than AIPAC is. But
exactly.
But apparently Israel is the source of everyone's problems. So.
For now, and it'll be another country because Russia was the source of our problems in 2016.
That's right.
If a leftist stepped on a Lego, Putin put it there. Now Bibi put it there. So it's again, they're just changing the names. That's all they're doing, and it is so see through. It's if you just think of it that way, right? You have a really nice audience on YouTube. I've been on your show before. They're awesome. Just think of it that way, right? 2016, and think of the exact same things they said. Russia installed Trump. Russia is blackmailing Trump. Trump is Putin's puppet. Russia calls the shots. Russia this, Russia that. And just look at this. Look at the comments, all right, of these folks who talk about Trump and Israel. And just substitute Israel for Russia and picture CNN saying that. And you will realize it is the exact same psyop. It's the same thing. Israel installed Trump, Miriam Adelson, AIPAC, et cetera, et cetera. Then they throw the AIPAC tracker graphic up there, right? Bibi, they showed Trump with the chair. Well, who does that? Maybe a nice person. That's who does that, right? You know, Bibi, Trump is Bibi's puppet. Bibi calls the shots. Israel calls the shots. Israel started a war. It's the same psyop. Don't fall for it again. Just don't.
And the other point I was making about Massie is that how he uses the Constitution as a prop in order to basically make himself popular with MAGA, to take Trump's own MAGA people and basically uses it as a prop for his own personal grandstanding. I pointed out that his AIPAC Act that he introduced last week, right? I was like, let's assume for a moment that he really believes this is a good thing, even though he's libertarian and seems to be completely inconsistent with libertarian values. But let's assume for a second that he actually, that's what he really is hoping to get passed, right? That's not a stunt, but he actually really wants to see this type of legislation passed, where we're going to designate as foreign agents, whatever nonsense he was throwing in there, or ban them, let's say, from lobbying. That'd be great. That'd be fine. The one thing that you would not call it is the AIPAC Act. You spent the last year saying that half of Congress is being financed by AIPAC. Right. Why would you give it a name that you know makes your proposal dead on arrival? Because you would never give it that name. If your objective is to actually see that pass, the last thing you would ever call it is something that you know is going to alienate Congress before they read a word of it as soon as they hear the name of it.
Because it was for clicks, so that he could say, "Here's what I did."
Exactly. That it's all about grandstanding. It's all about getting his supporters to basically come out there and say, "Beast, beast." And
you know what? Here's the thing. Good.
Change anything.
Good. Because he did that. They did that. And he lost. Okay. So if there's one lesson that everyone needs to learn, while I love the internet, it's great. You know, I have a show. You've got a show. You know, we're both really successful with our stuff on the internet. The stuff on social media is not real life. No. That's not that everything's fake. That's algorithms, engagement, etc. is very easy to manipulate. Very easy to manipulate and artificially manipulate. And when you see people bragging about ratios or engagement, you know, whatever it might be on social, you know that's how they judge like how value. True a statement is.
Yeah.
And it's not. That's the internet. That's fake, dude. That's junk food. Is what that is. That's not going to help you survive. It's not sustainable. And you just saw that happen tonight.
Yeah. You mind if I go through a couple of comments that came in here while you
go ahead.
While you were here? Sure. So Massie lost because we know him. There is no reason the average American should know who represents the Kentucky 4th District. That's a great point. But I will tell you there are other people, one of whom I'm going to call to your attention soon, like AOC. I didn't mean to. I can't put you in there. One of them is AOC, who she actually was talking about dishing tea about Marjorie Taylor Greene, which I want to get Sean's thoughts on this in a moment. So the fact that we know him, I don't know that I agree that that's necessarily why he lost, but he definitely seemed to have much more of a focus on his national popularity than on serving what the 4th District of Kentucky wanted him to do. The 4th District of Kentucky wanted Trump to be successful, and he basically did everything he could to make sure that he was going to stand in Trump's way. So he was the wrong leader for them.
Yeah,
I mean,
Kentucky 4 had approved of Trump at 80% is the number that I heard. So, you know, you can't go against the president's agenda like that.
Yeah.
And draw the ire of the guy who has a higher approval rating than you do. Massie has like a 30% approval rating in the district. You know, Trump has an 80%. You know, the math ain't mathin', and it didn't math for Massie tonight. So.
Jay is saying, Joey, deportations are working. I'm in the property management business in California. Prices are crashing. Oh, there you go. So it's helping the housing market. I've got more available units than I've had in 15 years. Gas is $5.87 a gallon, though. So Kimberly's saying, Joe, there's a lot of folks that will stand and fight for our Jewish friends in this country. We will not let your people be forced out of here. I'm not saying that I feel threatened or that I'm worried this is happening tomorrow. Or you know, in the next year. No, the point that I'm getting at is it emboldened this type of of thought that like, no, this is the direction we're going. I never got messages like that before a year ago, never. And like now I get it multiple times a week. And so you tell me, I mean, what is it that's happened over the last year other than, than Massie? So and I'm not saying that he feels that way. A lot of people want to label him an anti-Semite. I've never labeled him an anti-Semite. I think the people call him a rhino are out of their minds. I don't know what the hell Ed Galrine or anyone is calling him a rhino. It's important to label people properly. My point is, though, that the camp that's supporting him is very open, vitriolic towards Jews.
Well, look at the guy he had campaigning with him in
Bilzerian?
Or
Ryan Mata,
with the American right. I mean,
it's
you want to destroy a campaign, that's how you do it. I'm just saying.
Yeah. They're looking at the picture with the nose pressed up against it. If you pull back and look at the big picture, incredible things are happening. You're talking about people on X, that they see numbers there and they don't recognize that the body of people who are on X on a regular basis is a very poor reflection of what the overall American body is.
100%. I call it deli counter politics. You go up to someone who's waiting for their cold cuts at deli counter and ask them about the Epstein files, they're going to look at you like you have 5 heads. It doesn't matter. What they're upset about is that their turkey costs more than they think it should. That's what they're upset about,
Yeah,
So,
100%.
Yeah.
Jay is saying, Joe, if you really want to get rid of lobbying groups, the one that really needs to go is the teachers union. They are the most evil organization on the planet.
Amen.
No argument here.
No argument here.
Yeah, no, I don't like any civil, and there's no civil servant who should be part of a union. The notion itself is evil. I made a whole
Teachers
video
unions
on
came after me when I was in New York. They're a nasty bunch. I would love to see all of them go everywhere.
Nice. So this is what I want to get your thoughts about. There's a 60-second clip of AOC doing her thing and dishing tea on MTG.
Here's some tea for you. MTG, people are like, oh my God, she's saying all of these things. Like, what's gotten into her lately? Oh, like she's bucking against Trump. She's bucking against the administration. Marjorie Taylor Greene wanted to run for Senate in Georgia. She wanted to run for Senate earlier this year in the state of Georgia. She wanted to be the Republican nominee for Senate. So she was gearing up for that statewide race, and Trump told her no. Trump said no. And the White House and Trump land shut down Marjorie Taylor Greene's personal ambitions to run for Senate. And she has been on a revenge tour ever since. Here's some tea.
So what are your thoughts on that?
I don't like AOC.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think AOC is smart.
Nope.
But I do believe AOC is accurate in this case. The story tracks.
It's consistent with everything we've seen.
It tracks. If AOC came in and said, here's some tea for you, water is wet, I'm not now going to switch my opinion on what I think water is, right?
Yeah.
So it's one of those things. I'm not saying the Marjorie Taylor Greene thing is an objective truth, but I've heard that. Many of us have heard that, right? It tracks. So I wouldn't be shocked.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. I think that it's gotten personal. It's gotten like I'm out.
And politics gets like that, man. It's a dirty game. It is. I just saw the craziest stuff happen here in my county in a school board race. People were getting arrested. It was dude, you wouldn't believe it. Politics is the nastiest game out there. Nasty. Talk about cutthroat. You get people who you think are your friends. There's just a gigantic knife right in your back. It's insane. It happens all the time. All the time. So, that's par for the course, unfortunately, in this system.
No, it gets kind of crazy. I need to check on my goal. Like, I don't think we hit our goal tonight. No, we did not hit our goal tonight. Alas, I'm sort of a little torn about it because I had someone gifted a whole bunch of memberships, which is not part of the regular goal thing. Do you ever do the goals?
No, I've never done that. We stream on Rumble mostly, so I'm not even sure what that means.
Oh my gosh!
Is that like a fundraising thing?
Dude, you really need to on YouTube. If you ever streaming on YouTube, you need to be.
I stream to my YouTube channel. I just don't pay much attention to it because our home base is on Rumble. But I stream to it. I don't use it.
I'm just saying, it motivates people. If you give them a good goal, you can set up how many chats you need within what time parameter and what bare minimum threshold that you'll basically throw out, and you'll throw on an extra for them. And with you, it's easy. If you riff for 10 minutes as Donald Trump, that you'll probably get people to do that thing. I've shown you enough respect where I've never once asked you to do that for me over here, because I thought it'd be a rude thing to do. It treats you as if you're. It treats you. I feel like I'm treating you as a one-trick pony rather than respecting your mind.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
But yeah, but one of the things I've been working on recently is I've been working on my manifesto. So what I realized is this: after that most recent assassination attempt by Cole Allen, so we all saw his manifesto afterwards. This is what everyone got to see about his reasons and his thought process behind what he's doing, what he needs to do. And what I realized is that, like, this is a guy who obviously just did his manifesto last second. He never really, thought it through. So I don't expect I'll ever be in a circumstance ever in my life that I'll need a manifesto. But one day, if things go sideways, I need to be prepared. I don't want to sit there and start writing a manifesto at that point. I need the world to know exactly where they screwed up, like where things went wrong.
So you're getting a jump on it. That's cool.
So yeah, exactly. So I'm in the middle of writing my manifesto.
Very cool.
Which is basically designed to,
I hear you talking about writing a manifesto, and I'm like, I am not going to be criminally liable for anything this man does.
It's like, I'm never coming back here again. How do I get off of this channel right now?
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah. So I've been having a lot of fun with my manifesto, and I'll pick a different topic each time. And I use Grok to basically, I'll be yelling at Grok that, no, it needs to sound more unhinged. So I have a section about women wearing pantsuits, and how they're all liars. Any woman in pantsuit is lying to you.
Hillary Clinton, Exhibit A.
Kamala Harris, Liz
Exhibit
Warren.
B.
Every single one of them. Anyway, you see a woman in a pantsuit, she's there to lie to you. I have a whole thing about Barack Obama, how he's destroyed unity in this country forever. The worship of celebrities. But it's like, so it's actually like opinions that I think are, that I would express, but expressed in the most unhinged way imaginable. So because it's a manifesto, people need to understand that I was this close to losing it for a while. So when they're reading it, they need to really appreciate it.
Yeah.
So you probably wouldn't want to be here for that part of this, but if you want to participate, in the manifesto creating part of this show, I promised it would be a massive festo tonight. So I would basically be ranting on Massie.
No, I'm prepping for tomorrow morning. I got a little bit of an early morning, and
a wise call on your part. A wise part. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
A wise call on your part.
I mean, obviously tomorrow's show is not going to deal with Thomas Massie at all. I mean, there's no way.
No way.
It's going to be.
I'm going to urge you guys to make sure you all sub up to Sean Ryan. The name of your channel is. If you give me a link.
It's just my name is SHAWN_FARASH.
All right. If you send me a link, I'll incorporate it in the description so folks want to find you. And it's that under Rumble and YouTube.
It's that on. I stream to YouTube, my personal channel. On Rumble, it's rumble.com/LFATV. But it's we'll be on at 10 a.m. Eastern tomorrow. So we're having some fun. Oh, actually, I'm doing 2 hours tomorrow. I'm starting at 9. Because I'm filling in for Misfit. I'm sure you know who he is.
Yeah.
He's a great guy. I love him. And I've met him in real life. He's a lot of fun.
Yeah,
He's the same guy you see on camera. He's the exact same. That's why I love him. Yeah. He's the same guy you see him in public. He's great. So I'm filling in for him tomorrow because he's at a convention, but I'm going to actually have him on during the hour that I'm filling in for him anyway. So we're going to be doing a show together tomorrow. It'll be fun.
Right. Awesome. Send him my best. I think I actually talked to him about coming on here sometime, and we just never worked. He seemed down, but it just never happened. So
yeah, no, he's cool. I'm sure, but he's busy. But he's fun. So we were talking all night because obviously he wanted Massie to go down big time, and obviously it happened. So it was like a Super Bowl party.
Nice.
So,
Nice. All right. Well, I appreciate you popping in here, brother.
Hey,
And
thanks for jumping.
You're
Thanks
welcome.
for having me
You're
on.
welcome anytime. And make sure you guys check out Sean Farris. He's awesome.
All right. Thanks, man. Appreciate
My
it.
brother.
Later.
So there you go. There you go. The influence that Islam is having on our country is just astounding to me. It's not astounding to me. It doesn't surprise me at all. Well, this is all good. Everything that happens is for the best. This is a core element to my religious beliefs, is that everything that happens is ultimately 100% for the best. Sometimes it's hard for us to understand it. Sometimes it seems a little easier to understand, but yeah. Like Joe looking at the Iran situation, eye at glass. I know you want us to go in there and just do our thing. I understand that. I hear you. I hear you, brother. I hear you, brother. I wanted to there actually was one or two other things I wanted to share with you guys, but I am going to do a little bit of manifesto work tonight. Do a little bit of manifesto work. I covered for you guys how there's all these different memes now about Ellen Page because of this thing that she's supposed to, the speculation that she's going to be playing the role of Achilles. That little Ellen Page is going to be playing the role of Achilles. So that's got like all these different memes popping out of people basically imagining Ellen Page in various roles. So I feel as if I would be depriving you if I didn't share it with you. I only got two of them for you here tonight, but this is it's always good. Ellen Page is Neo. It's always good. I don't know why these things tickle me so much. Some people got really tickled by the whole baby AI stuff. Ellen Page in different movies just does it for me. It just does. This is Roadhouse. like punch, punch, pow, 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 pow. Nothing. These movies just feel a little different with Ellen Page in there. I don't know. I can't explain it. Oh, God, so good. So good. The 300 one is good because they get Dylan in there. Although I think they get Dylan Murphy in there. Whatever happened to Dylan Murphy? Whatever happened to that dude? Does anyone know? Anyone know? I don't know. Just fell off the map. Fell off the map. Oh, in case you're wondering, I do have this also. Yeah, the predictions for the odds here. Well, there you go. That's over. And that went like Ellen Page in Roadhouse. Okay, so I'm going to do a little bit. You know, I'm gonna pass on Massie. I'm gonna save it for tomorrow. I am gonna open the phone lines up though. That's what I'll do. I'll take a call or two. That's what I think is better. I'm very torn about this because we sort of, kind of didn't hit the goal, but did, which is why I want to give you added time. So if you want to call in right now and give me your thoughts about the primary or the Iran war or anything that's happening, I think phone lines feels tonight. Phone lines feels more like the right call. So I am going to open the phone lines. I think that's the better way to do this. If you're wondering, the number to call is 972-454-0703. You're going to see a little banner going across the bottom of your screen. That banner is going to remind you that you should hit like and subscribe. You really should. If you're here still, you should be hitting like and subscribe, because this is, if you're still sticking around, obviously there's a reason. You're never going to find me again. Quite the contrary. We dipped back under 103 today because YouTube is masso. YouTube is masso. So, but the number is 972-454-0703 if you're interested in calling in. You want to give me your thoughts and things of that nature. I think I'm going to save the manifesto for tomorrow. We'll do that. We'll look at that tomorrow. But a couple of other things I wanted to share with you while I'm waiting for people to call in. You could be celebrating, you could be angry, you could be cursing me out, whatever it is. Call on in. Feel free. Feel free. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the events of the day. I'm so happy that Raffensperger went down. I can't even tell you. Oh my God. I'm so thrilled this guy went down. He was such a schmuck, such an arrogant schmuck. I didn't get a chance to really look at that article. This was it here. Georgia Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger failed Tuesday night to clinch enough votes for one of the two spots in the runoff for the Republican primary for Georgia governor, losing to Lieutenant Governor Burt Jones and healthcare executive Rick Jackson. He came in third. Raffensperger secured just 14% of the vote, according to the Associated Press, compared to Jones' 37 and Jackson's 34. Jones considered the favorite to win the nomination after President Donald Trump endorsed his campaign. There you go. There you go. Another closely watched race in Georgia's Senate race, where Republicans are hoping to defeat Democrat Senator John Ossoff in November. Race has not yet been called, but GOP Rep Mike Collins is in the lead for the GOP nomination. Results come on one of the busiest primary nights in the 2026 season, with 6 states holding their respective primaries, the others being Alabama, Idaho, Kentucky, Oregon, and Pennsylvania. So I am so happy. This is that guy who was on the call. Oh my God, I couldn't stand George Robbins.
Call from. To accept, press 1. To send a voice.
Hello.
How you doing, Joe?
Thad the man?
Good evening. Huh?
Thad the man?
No, unfortunately not. This is Parker.
Dick Parker.
Dick Parker, yeah.
Dick Parker. How are you?
Yes, sir. Doing fine, sir. Doing fine. How about yourself?
You want to yell at me about Iran some more? Is that what's happening here?
No, it was China. You said, I don't know why you're so
China.
confused.
Right, China.
It was about China, and you think it's all about Iran, and I'm trying to explain to you, no, it's all about China.
China is our greatest threat right now. I'm with you on that. I'm with you on that.
And everything Donald Trump is doing, Iran is not about Israel right now. It's not about the nukes, I don't think. I mean, he's been talking about the nukes for a while, but his main thing, that's the other. It's like another 5 or 10%, 15% of China's oil supply. I mean, look at he's been talking about China since he got elected, started in 16.
And I think what you're saying makes a lot of geopolitical sense, that he's basically looking at Iran as a choke point to sort of.
Exactly. It's a chess move. Bump. It looks like it's for, the left is trying to twist it like he's doing it for Israel. And that's bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
It is, because he says they don't need nukes because they're worried about the 12th Imam coming back. The little 5-year-old kid been hiding in a cave for 1,200 years. And I don't know if you know about that.
Okay.
You know about that? That when the Shia and the Sunni split, because the Shia thought it should be the bloodline of Muhammad. And
educate me.
The Sunni didn't believe that. And so every time the Shia would elect a new imam, the Sunni would kill him. And they killed like 11 of them. And then the 12th one, it was like a 5-year-old kid. They picked him, and he disappeared. And they think he hid away in the cave. I think the Sunni killed him, his little ass too. But anyway, and they think when Shia Islam is the worst threats, that the 12th Imam is going to come back. The little 5-year-old kid is going to come back and save the world for them. And so that's why they want to bomb. They're going to nuke Israel. They know Israel's got a shitload of nukes. They're going to get wiped out, but they think when Israel launches their shit, that's when the 12th Imam is going to come back.
Yeah, I don't think Israel's ever going to launch those nukes.
What's that?
I don't think Israel's ever going to launch those nukes. I think those nukes are designed as a deterrent, but
yeah, I agree. They don't need to. I think they'll swat it out the air before it even lands. Myself, I know they're the smartest people in the world.
They're pretty good at what they do.
But
yeah,
I think it's not about. I think we need to go in. We only need 2 months. November, we need October, September. If we can wipe out Iran by the end of August, I think we're good. 2 months, the oil. If we go in, we need to go in. We need to go in, take the coastline first.
There's another
take the islands, take the coastline. We need to get boots on the ground. Is that a way? Because the population of Persia, of Iran, is 80% Persian. There's like 10% of these Muslim freaks. Only 10%. You just seen videos of them. They're handing out guns and showing how little kids and women to fucking shoot guns. They're like, okay, they know how to pull a trigger. They're not going to hit nothing. We need to go in there, get guns to the Persians. 80% of the country wants these people out. They're naming streets after Donald Trump. They're naming streets after the Shah Pahlavi. And Shah Pahlavi, he don't want to be the king. He wants to go in there and set up a republic, a democratic republic. That's what needs to happen. We do that. By the time election comes around, gasoline's gonna be $2 a gallon.
Well, I think people need to feel their gas prices down for a while first. I'll tell you this much. As far as actually being disastrous for the midterm elections, Iran being disastrous, I tend to concur that the American memory is
short.
Very short. Very short.
Very short.
They can't remember what happened 3 months ago.
No. Hello.
They can't remember what happened 3 months ago. So in that sense,
they can't remember what happened 2 weeks ago.
I do think that this whole special 250 celebration will be greatly dampened if we're in Iran. So it sort of is detracting.
But
I think it will be greatly dampened if we're still in Iran. I think that even the World Cup is an opportunity, that we have coming up in June. It's an opportunity for Americans to rally around each other and to create a very good vibe, a uniquely great vibe, and the war lingering there sort of, hampers that. If you don't believe me, by the way, that as far as how short the American memory is, think about this for a second. All these conventions that they have before presidential elections, there's always this whole sweeping fever of, oh my God, this is the greatest thing you ever saw before, and everyone gets all weepy and emotional, and then they forget.
I know that,
and that's in July, August.
Dumb as a bag of rocks.
It's not American. It's not uniquely American. This is something that I think is part of the human condition.
Every human in the world out there.
I think it's part of the human condition. So, you don't remember how excited you were. I mean, all the people screaming Summer of Brat with Kamala. You remember that nonsense? And it seemed like, wow, look at her. She's riding so high. Look at her. She's riding so high. Nothing.
No, I never saw it. Never saw it, Joe. Never saw it.
Well, but I'm saying is she had a lot of, great vibes around her when she first came in. Like, oh, wow, we got the whole sweeping change from old
the media.
geriatric.
It's like 12% of the population takes to make a movement, because when the media gets behind that 12%, they move the scales. That's
but
bullshit.
My point is, whatever impact that is, it's forgotten 3 months later. You know what will be remembered, though? It's remembered if there's a terrible tragedy that happens during the course of this conflict. If there's a terrible tragedy where, God forbid, some ship gets sunk or some unit gets tortured and a video goes up of that is something which is disaster, aside from the tragedy itself. But that tragedy will be played and played and played and played and played. And the longer that we're there, the more likely it is that there's going to be, God forbid, some screw up.
But what's the alternative? If we sign, the Muslim religion, they're allowed to lie. Their book, their holy book allows them to lie. And the only way they can sign a peace agreement if they promise to break it within 10 years. So anything you sign with them is just a 9.5-year lease. So it's like this, you have to go finish these people. You can't get around it. Otherwise, we're going to be back in there another 10 years down the line. I don't know. I think it's worth the freaking risk. We've been dealing with these guys for almost 5 decades. It's time to finish them.
I don't know.
It's time to finish.
Why not? Why not? I mean, if we can forget the blockade part of things, why not just let Israel handle it?
Good. Israel's got their hands full. You think Israel can handle it?
I don't know. Supposedly they're one of the top 5 militaries in the world. It's certainly.
Oh, well.
That's what people say about them. So I don't know.
No, I don't. They're badass. I agree that they're good, but Iran is a huge country. They need help with that.
It is a very big country,
and it's not like it's going to be in Iraq. Iraq, they had 25% of the country was Sunni, run by Saddam. 75% was Shia, favoriting Iranians, and they were in control. So and they both hated us. The Sunnis and the Shias, all the Muslims hate Americans.
Oh yeah.
And so we're gonna take one out and put democracy in there, and the Shia take over. That was like a lose-lose situation. This is different. We have 10% Shia Muslims, and we got like 80% Persians that don't. They were burning mosque.
Where are they?
Muslim.
Where are they? Why isn't there's no?
Donald Trump told them to fucking chill out, hide out. But we need to get them guns because they got no guns. If we can get in there and get them some guns.
That's a plan that's backfired too many times for me to count. Getting guns to people.
Not in my opinion. No.
I can point you to like Iran in the 1940s, to South America. Whenever we arm Sandinistas, whenever we arm people, those guns end up somehow or another trained back on our troops. So I'm not too thrilled with the idea of just giving out guns.
Well, I think they should be. They should have already been organizing the diaspora. They should have been training. There's plenty of men. There's probably 10 million. At least 1 million fighting age men in the diaspora. We should have been training to go in there and load them up and fly them in. I don't know why we don't do it, but it is what it is.
All right, my brother.
But I enjoy your show, Joe.
Thank you.
I do enjoy your show.
I love having you around, my brother. Thank you so much for popping in.
All right, you have a good.
Cut you a little too quick. Sorry about that. VSing saying, regarding ripping the Band-Aid, I must say futures markets appear to be anticipating something biggish in the near future. I'm very much leaning and currently positioned short. Also saying, not sure how much longer I'll be streaming after you wrap up tonight or even before, but I'll be wearing the purple tie on stream tomorrow for the release of the latest FOMC minutes with Jay Powell as chair. I don't know what any of that means. I don't know what that means at all. Nothing there. JH saying, Joe, I have a challenge for you. Tal Oran, the traveling clap. I've watched him. He's very good. How much for you to watch his channel for an entire week? Take what he says carefully. He's a Jew. You'll thank me for this. He's great. He's really smart. He's very quick. I just don't think that's, I feel as if I rarely have much to add to what he says. So that's why I don't like taking people's content unless I feel like I can do something with it. That's not going to stop me from going into X though and showing you what's coming out on X now, because this is just funny stuff. Oh no, you didn't. Oh no, you didn't. Oh no, you didn't. That just feels wrong. That feels wrong. Ari Fleischer just wrecked Tom Massie. Ed's a Navy SEAL. For him to allege his opponent is an agent of a foreign nation shows he doesn't understand America. He doesn't understand his district. He's been drummed out of it. What he said about Ed is classless and clueless about how he'll be remembered.
He was trying to reach Ed Galrain on the phone, but Tel Aviv is a... Yeah, what Tom Massie said when he came out to give his concession speech was he apologized it took him so long to get out. He was trying to reach Ed Galrain on the phone, but Tel Aviv is a long-distance call.
Yeah, I thought that was a little bit... I thought it was a little tacky. But I could see he's playing to his audience, which is what he's really good at. I'm raising the volume here a little bit so we can all hear what he's saying.
They couldn't find him in Tel Aviv. I mean, Thomas Massie is going to go out of office classless and clueless. To say something...
Oh, hold on a second. Someone's calling me.
Call from
Thomas Massie.
To accept, press 1. To send a voicemail, press 2.
I like it. I'm totally accepting that. Mr. Massie, how you feeling tonight?
I was doing great, hanging out with Lowen Bolbert and stuff, and we were sitting on the couch, and then I saw that meme that you just showed on your show.
Oh, sorry.
And I have to tell you, I was a really big fan of your show until I saw that meme.
Oh my gosh.
But Lauren Boebert, she says she liked the outfit, man. So I'm going to take her out for some more steak dinners and buy her that exact outfit, and we're going to do that. We'll do that meme live on camera for my presidential run. I'm going up against Donald Trump.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
going to be great.
You're going against Trump? You
I
think
can't
Trump's
use
going to
the
be...
word great.
Right.
But it'll be like dang good or something.
Dang good.
Probably.
Dang good.
Yeah, like dang. Oh, man, I got nothing here, man. Like, I'm pretty sure my presidential run is over with now that you put that meme on your show, because you have the most popular show. Well, it's the only one I watch.
Pretty much top 3.
I'm Thomas Massie,
right.
So
right.
I got that going for me, and I get to
If
Lauren Boebert is just a business friend of mine or something.
Business. Business.
Yeah, it's all business in politics.
Right. It's all.
Oh, I wasn't supposed to say that. Darn it! It's going to be dang good though. My presidential run that you just destroyed.
Can she confirm the whole Pinecone thing, or no?
Oh no, she's not allowed to talk in my presence. That's just the way we roll in politics. It's just business.
It was. Did you? I thought it was a little weird that Lauren Boebert went out there. I mean, I guess you stand up for a friend, but I thought it was a little weird. It's like, what is her connection to Kentucky? And I guess.
Oh, No, Lauren Boebert and I are actually not friends at all. I just take her to dinner, and she's not allowed to talk and stuff. Yeah, I'm sorry. I have to come clean with you, sir. This is Jack Reeves from Arizona. I'm just some random guy that listens to your
You're
show.
not really
Thomas
Thomas.
Massey.
You're not really Thomas Massey?
No, dude. It's just
Oh,
me.
man.
It's just me, Jack. Yeah, I worked all day trimming trees. My back is slain, but I'm drinking a beer, sitting on the porch, looking at the stars. Beautiful, beautiful weather out here in the Southwest.
All right.
We got that.
Good.
Yeah, we got that whole El Nino thing happening, but we're used to it in Arizona. It's always hot.
Oh, well, it's actually it was very hot here today. I'm over in Jersey, and it's like 90 degrees today. So.
Yeah. My friend Hotep Jesus lives over in Jersey. I watch his show and stuff too.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
All right.
You know who Hotep Jesus is?
I've heard of Hotep Jesus.
He's a big conservative guy. Nice fellow.
I don't think I've ever interacted with him at all, but I've heard of Hotep Jesus. I got an invitation, by the way, for my hookup. I'm going to ask you, Ryan, because I need to ask someone. I got an invitation. I have a hookup in D.C., someone who is a low-level staffer in the Trump. I assume he's relatively low level. I don't mean to be disparaging of you, but we're just going to call him Joe, and he works in the.
Yeah, I know Joe. I'm Thomas Massey. I'm really very good friends with him. No, so yeah, so a low-level guy.
So he
Joseph.
sent me out. We'll call him Joseph. That's a good way to get it, to distinguish from me. So. He sent me an invitation to come out to DC on July 1st, July 2nd, where they're having a whole celebration of the passport type of thing. Like they have a new Celebrate 250 passport, which has like a picture of Trump on it, that I can get a brand new passport.
Little red balloons just exploding in the distance. Yeah, that sort of stuff. Interesting.
You think I should invest in that, or like the time in doing that, time and money?
As an investor, like when the future tells you, like, gives you little breadcrumbs, you kind of want to follow the breadcrumbs. What was it, Theseus that went into the labyrinth to kill the Minotaur? He followed the rope and stuff. So, I mean, you can take that as what it is, but there's always, buy low, sell high kind of deal. Shalom and stuff. Like what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah,
but yeah,
I totally feel you.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't have said it better myself.
Great opportunity. Yeah, that's a great opportunity, man. Like,
all right. So you're saying do it.
And,
Go for
it. And actually, if you can be there, in Washington D.C. on the 250th birthday of the United States of America, and like have that Elon space backpack and shit with, pardon my French, Canadian, but yeah, and like live stream, like, dude, talk about your channel boost. I mean,
you think?
Oh, absolutely. Number one in the chat, if you think I'm right. Two, if you think I'm wrong. What does the chat say?
Oh, well, you need to give them. We're like 20 seconds ahead of them. So he's saying,
oh,
if you think he's right,
because we're, yeah,
that give a 1. If you think he's wrong, put a 2.
One yes, 2 no, that sort of thing. I'm Thomas Massey, and I'm a businessman that buys Lauren Boebert steaks, and she's not allowed to talk. So trust me.
Sing a whole bunch of threes.
I don't know. Oh, those are the smart people. So good for them.
There you go.
Because, yeah, absolutely. Hey, but
you're not gonna be offended if I watch some more memes of you, Tom, are you? I don't want to lose you forever.
Well, no. I mean, if Lauren can get some more great outfit ideas, I'll just have to take her to a steak dinner. She's not allowed to talk. I have my Secret Service nearby with a roll of duct tape, so you don't have to worry about me, man. I got this. Gosh dang. Hey, thank you for taking my call.
My pleasure. My pleasure, Tom.
Great show, man. I always love watching your show. I love that you stream late in tonight. I'm out, man, and God bless you. Shalom, brother.
Shalom. Good night. Oh, a nice guy. Tom is much nicer than people thought he was. I don't know why people keep making all these mean memes of Thomas Massie. It's totally rude.
Y'all want to see something cool? Boner phone, get it? Extra long style, baby. Ooh, it's Lauren. Should I answer on this live stream, y'all? Fuck it.
Hi, babe. You doing okay?
Okay, I was actually making some pizza to cope with this shit.
And I'm so sorry.
Yeah, it hurts.
I know, but I'm here. I'll cheer you up.
You look amazing. That helps.
Good. Just let it all out.
I will. Thank you. I lost the election today.
Oh, honey, let me cheer you up.
You're amazing. Wait, what?
Want me to shove it up my...
Oh my God, Lauren!
Okay. I didn't know where this is going. I'm just scrolling through. This popped up 51 minutes ago. So yeah, I'm just scrolling through. But it is still a family show. So Scott Jennings doesn't hold back on Thomas Massie's way out of the door.
House primary in U.S. history, and the president made it a priority to get rid of Thomas Massie, and he succeeded because Massie had, frankly, become an opponent of the president inside of the party, and you just can't do that. You know, Massie used to, reliably vote with the Republicans. That number had been falling over time. This is one of the most conservative districts in the country. It's certainly a conservative area of Kentucky. They gave Donald Trump a massive victory in 2024. And they expect the Republican congressman who represents them to be part of the team. The two big issues in the race that were in most of the advertising had to do with tax cuts and immigration. And Massie was against Trump on both of his big border security and tax cut bills. And so they said, look, we can get a Republican congressman that'll be part of the team and support the president. That campaign worked. I just want to also add one other thing. Thomas Massie tonight in his concession speech said something despicable, anti-Semitic, nasty, gutter politics, right at the end. What a way to go out. He said, I would have called Ed Galrine, but I had to find him in Tel Aviv.
He started with that.
There was an undercurrent of anti-Semitism in this race on the Massie side. There's been an undercurrent of it in his career, unfortunately, and it really came out in an ugly way tonight. And I think it needs to be stated, acknowledged, and condemned. Because it was pretty despicable.
Wow. Wow. Wasn't expecting that. Wasn't expecting that.
Well, it was the most expensive.
This is funny. Your endorsement means crap club. That's pretty funny. That's pretty funny. Wow. Wow. Yeah, they were telling us it would be the end of times if he loses. The Massie rap party is getting bigger. This is Misfit, who Sean was talking about. That's Misfit Page. That's Misfit Patriot right there. That's pretty funny. Just for the record, Thomas Massie's single largest campaign financier is an American Jewish billionaire named Jeff Yass, who's a key figure in the far-right Israeli think tank called the Kohelet Policy Forum, which actively pushes for greater Israel project. Massie is literally the last person that can start accusing people of being under the control of foreign Jewish influences. This is that comment that he made, in case you missed it.
I would have come out sooner, but I had to call my opponent and concede, and it took a while to find Ed Galrein in Tel Aviv.
Yeah, it was lacking in class. Congratulations to Scott Pressler on being elected to state committee for Beaver County, Pennsylvania. Well done, Scott. I thought he lost this one, but I'm happy. I'm so happy for him. Good guy. Nice. 62-59. Well done. That's amazing for him. Great job, Scott. This guy worked bust his tail. Like the podcast Castariat, Massie followed the clarion call of clicks and online engagement, forming his views to suit demands of YouTube comment section. This is what I've been saying. He doesn't care about his constituents. He cares about the clicks.
Well, Trump went all in on Massie's opponent, Navy SEAL Ed Galrein. And Massie's loss is being portrayed as yet another example of Trump's iron grip on power. But it's actually about something else, too. Think of the issues that Massie broke with Trump over: Epstein, Iran, and Israel. Massie made an obsession with the Epstein files and a newfound anti-Zionism into the cornerstones of his campaign, repeatedly invoking anti-Semitic stereotypes by accusing Jews and Israel of buying the race.
The difference in this race, what people need to watch, is it's a referendum on whether the Israeli lobby can buy a seat in Congress. And it will be a referendum on foreign policy, whether Israel gets to dictate that by, bullying members of Congress.
Just in case I lose, they gave me the number to call to concede. The area code is Tel Aviv, though.
Oh, so he made the same joke 3 days ago that he made tonight. Okay, that makes it even lamer. This is the thing that I mentioned when I was on with Viva earlier today. This is when I knew Massie and MTG were working against Trump. Something interesting came while I was looking through campaign contributions to Thomas Massie. Federal campaign finance records show several donors with the same last name, Marouk, making large political donations across. Sam Marouk, Rani Marouk, Zaid Marouk, Rana Marouk, Mohammed Marouk, Hussein Marouk, Aya Marouk. At the same group of donors shows up funding politicians such as Massie, MTG, Ilhan Omar, Cory Bush, Jamal Bowman, Keith Ellison. The same people are financing. Who finances all 5 of these people? Who? All 6 of these people. Who finances these 6 people? The memes are fire.
Massie's now the creepy man who hates Jews. Trump haters continue to lose. It's so much fun to watch you ride. Massie is now the insecurity issues. On the phones and women use. Massie is done. Good night. Goodbye, Thomas. Goodbye.
This was so sad. Yeah.
Beautiful.
I have called and conceded the race.
Oh my God.
That's cute. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. South Carolina House of Representatives passed a new redistricted congressional map. Final vote 74 yes, no 36. Now we got to get past the Senate. The Senate is where this got held up last time. Apparently there was pressure that was put on them by the governor. The governor put pressure on the Senate. Did the Senate pass this yet? I'm going to ask Rock if the Senate passed this one yet. Has the Senate passed this yet?
No, not yet. Which bill are you asking about? The SAVE Act? It passed the House but is stalled in the Senate. They've been debating it but haven't cleared the filibuster.
I'm talking about the South Carolina redistricting.
No, the Senate hasn't passed it. The House just sent over the redistricting bill today. It passed third reading there a few hours ago, but it still needs to go through the full Senate process. That's where things got blocked before, so we'll see if it moves this time. Want me to keep an
So I lost my job tonight. I was the guy on Massie's campaign. I kept laser focused in Israel instead of Kentucky. Andrew, for all the people wondering why I choose Trump over Massie, there's only one force holding back the Democrats from importing hundreds of millions of third worlders, making them instant citizens with their votes, ending America forever, and turning it into our own versions of every other degenerate third world hellhole. That person is not Thomas Massie. That person is Donald J. Trump. You force me to choose between them, and I'll choose the one that is the only one possible salvation for our nation in its existential fight for survival. Warts and all, every day, and twice on Sundays.
For Thomas Massie down in Happy Tuesday. We all have our fingers crossed for Thomas Massie down in Kentucky. Let's go, Thomas Massie. We'll see what happens. Happy Tuesday.
Boo-hoo. Let's check on John Cornyn. At this moment, we also realized he was unstoppable. That was when he did the Rosie O'Donnell.
You've called women you don't like fat pigs, dogs, slobs, and disgusting animals. Your Twitter account.
Only Rosie O'Donnell.
No, it wasn't.
Ooh. Massie, MTG, Bill Cassidy, and Liz Cheney have little in common politically, except that they come to be perceived by Trump as having slighted him. No one can seriously doubt Trump's grip on the GOP, but there is zero ideological through line other than a one-man personality cult. I told you, he loves crapping in everyone's pool. He will crap in everyone's pool. The 2026 FAFO calendar has been updated. Massie has a FAFO of May. Who's June? Oh, Twitter is so much fun.
What's the old song? You don't tug on Superman's cape. You don't spit into the wind. You don't pull the mask off the old Lone Ranger, and you don't mess around with Trump in a Republican primary. And that's what Thomas Massie has done by becoming his chief antagonist in the U.S. House, and this became really a referendum on, is Thomas Massie on the team or not? And Trump said he wasn't. The voters followed. The key vote that House leadership turned on him over was the big, beautiful bill. I mean, the working
House
families
leadership, but
tax
the president.
credit. Well, but that's the president's domestic policy agenda. And you cannot become an apostate on two issues in a Republican primary, taxes and immigration. Massie voted against Trump's immigration security. He voted against Trump's tax cuts. So when you become a chief antagonist, when you're voting with the squad against Donald Trump's domestic policy agenda, it's not Epstein.
That's
it's
because
a problem.
he was
When you're voting with the...
I forgot to close my phone. Let's take one more call.
Call from
Karen Mannings.
Karen, you're my last call of the night.
Yeah, kind of figured it's like kind of late.
Yeah. How you doing?
Hot, sweaty. It's hot over here.
You paint a pretty picture.
I do?
I'm just busting chops. How you doing? So, it's very...
No, I just wanted a quick saying about the debate you had with Reba.
Okay. What do you got?
Okay, you did pretty good. You both did pretty good, right?
Mm.
But I felt like you both were like sailing at each other past each other.
Talking past each other.
Yes. You didn't listen to, I think, you didn't quite listen to what she said, and he didn't quite listen to what you said.
What did you think he said that I missed?
Well, I mean, Viva is very neurotic, so he likes detail.
Okay.
And you didn't give him enough time, I think, to really explain his point.
You thought I cut him off?
Yes.
I wasn't purposefully trying to do that.
Oh, I know you didn't, but you did.
On what issue do you think I cut him off?
Well, on when he tried to understand where you were coming from, right? And he started, right? And then you cut him off.
Well, if he's trying to understand where I'm coming from, then isn't that on me to explain it to him?
Right, you did. But then when he followed up, you cut him off again.
Right. So the one time I remember that happening was when we were talking about tariffs, and it felt as if he wasn't really understanding what I was saying about the whole tariff thing.
That's right, he didn't.
And I still don't know that he did. Members in his audience, when I look at the comments, at least I uploaded it onto my channel. I look in the comments and people are like surprised that he wasn't understanding what I was saying. In case you missed that part of my conversation with Vivo, what we're referring to is he asked me what my issues are with Massie. And I said that he uses the Constitution as a prop. One example that I gave was his position on tariffs. And one of the point that I made was this. I said that I agree with Massie that technically there's a legal obligation for Congress under the Constitution, for Congress to be the one to sign off on tariffs. But they have the right, but they have the opportunity to pass that over in discretion on how to handle it to the president. So if you're telling me, and maybe I should have expressed it a little bit better, and I thought about this afterwards. I could have expressed it this way. If I say, if I have a kid, right, and my kid wants to take the car, now I can make a claim that the reason you can't take the car is because you're not on the insurance.
Right.
Or it could be, I just don't trust you driving the car in this particular scenario. Now, what it seemed like what Massie tried saying is there's a technical problem here. You don't have the authority. And my question to Viva really is it a matter of that you don't want him accessing tariffs because you don't want him accessing tariffs? Or is it that he's not accessing tariffs in a way that the Constitution allows? And he portrayed it as you're just not doing it the way the Constitution allows. So implicitly, I'm not trying to stand in the way of Trump and how he's doing things and his whole agenda here, but we have this problem with the Constitution. So he uses the Constitution and cloaks himself in the Constitution, saying the reason we can't do this is because the Constitution. Well, under the Constitution, you have ways of actually giving him that access. So you're pretending that the reason you're stopping him is because mock Constitution, but the reality is you just don't want him driving the car. So you're pretending it's about the insurance, but it's really you don't want him driving the car. You're using the excuse of the insurance, but the reality is the insurance is not really the problem. So that's what like many parents will do. So he's pretending that the Constitution is a problem, and it technically is a problem, but it's not really a problem if you don't want it to be a problem, because the Constitution allows for you to give that power over. But he tells everyone, oh, it's all about the insurance. Oh, it's all about the Constitution, when really the Constitution doesn't stop him and the rest of Congress from giving him that grant of authority. So I feel as if he's using the Constitution to try and make points of, I'm stopping, and to get what he wants, while pretending that he's just being principled. It's all about the principle. It's not about the freaking principle at all. It's a matter of he's just trying to be a pain in the ass, and he's cloaking himself in the Constitution.
Right. But see, you have to understand, Viva is Canadian. Well, he just got here to America. I don't think,
He got it 3 years ago.
That's not a long time to understand really the Constitution. It took me years to understand the Constitution.
Listen, we're having a political conversation about what the Constitution allows, what it doesn't. He's an attorney. I don't know what. If you tell me that he's not familiar with constitutional law, okay, I understand that. That doesn't change the reality of the situation, though. And I'm trying to explain it to him that he's just plain wrong in his understanding of the Constitution. We talk about the War Powers Act, and I was telling him that there's no Supreme Court precedent which backed up Massie's position that it was illegal to go get Maduro. There's nothing. You cannot find a single case which would imply for a second that was anywhere near beyond the scope of what Trump has a right to do under the Constitution. But he came out there and said, you're breaching the Constitution. And he first is questioning me whether that's true. He finds a tweet of him saying if it was constitutional, they wouldn't need to do this. So I said, you see, he's saying it's not constitutional. That's why they manufactured an alternative reason here. So he's saying it's not constitutional, when the reality is everyone knows that it's constitutional. Anyone who's ever studied constitutional law, no one in good faith would come forward and say that this was unconstitutional. But he does, because he knows his audience. He knows 90% of his audience doesn't know that.
Right.
So he's bastardizing the Constitution to turn MAGA against Trump, because who's going to respect the constitutional arguments? MAGA. So he's bastardizing he's bastardizing what the Constitution says, what authorities Trump actually has, for the purpose of getting Trump's own base to turn on him. It's a duplicitous thing to do. He's not a good person. He's always like all folksy and like whatever, and like this, Obama was also all folksy and everything like that. It was a twisted thing to do, and it was for the purpose of his own popularity at the expense of Trump.
Right, that's true. No, I followed Massie on Facebook, and I always did like Massie for some weird, strange reason.
I understand what he's saying as far as the principles, and that there is too much pork. So it's like, he would play into the things. Viva, I'm sorry, I'm cutting you off. I'm doing it again. Go ahead.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, like, he was leaning in on the things that, that he knows I'm going to agree with Massie, as far as, in principle, that that he's right. I don't like there being pork. He's right. I don't like Pam Bondi. So, you want to cite every grievance there. That's fine. But you're ignoring just win after win after win after win after win after win that we've gotten from Trump, and making it out as if he's like this massive problem where he betrayed us. He betrayed MAGA. He started off his questioning by trying to lock me into, at what point can we say that Trump is no longer part of MAGA? Like, that's where he started. The very opening framing that he wanted to see, he was asking me, and I was like, why are you asking me my opinion? He wants to know, what is MAGA? At what point can we, is it MAGA beyond Trump? And I said, 100% it is. It's much bigger than Trump. And he's like, fine. So like, at what point, if someone is breaching what MAGA says, do we say you're not part of MAGA anymore? And I was like, this feels like it's trying to be a purity test. And frankly, I was like, it could be one really, really terrible thing. In theory, I would agree with you. But, or it could be, just a consistent thing. I can't really answer that question. I don't know why my opinion on that really is the point. The point is, I mean, I guess I'm the stand-in for people who are coming out against Massie. So I guess in that sense it's fair. But I was just like, do we not see any of the wins here? We don't see any of them. I know we do. I'll just finish with this. I know we did not see any of the Nazis. We don't see that. We don't see any of the Nazis. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I had to get my joke out there.
No, it's just I watch Weaver, and he struggles with certain things. He has, for instance, a few weeks ago, he had 2 Israelis on the show.
Okay.
Like real Israelis from Israel.
No, that's what I assume you meant that.
So, he's trying to understand something that he tries to figure out. And that's what I like about him. He's neurotic. He needs to figure out something.
I don't think that there's a single fiber in Viva's being which has a problem with Jews or Israelis. Civil. I don't think I never did. I've never thought that. And I can't imagine a scenario where I would ever think such a thing at all. I've never, I don't think that Robert Barnes feels that way. I don't feel that any of them feel that way. Any of these people who you see me, I don't Liberty Lockpad, who's, surged and become so huge. I've never for a second thought that about him, and I still don't. And, but I feel as if they're all very, very comfortable being adjacent to people who clearly dislike Jews. And that to me is surprising, given how I first came to Barnes, and he was looking to expose these people as not being part of America First. And now they seem very, very comfortable with people who are very obviously Jew hating, and not feeling that that's something they need to call out as I'm not part of associating with you. So I was and that was what I was trying to take him to task on. I'm like, how are you comfortable just being around this? And I was a little uncomfortable bringing it up because like I thought it was stupid how Jake Tapper would always be like, can you condemn the Nazis? Can you condemn the KKK? Why don't you finally condemn? And I thought that was the most disingenuous thing in the world. And I'm not looking for anyone to be condemned. I'm looking for him to say, I'm just not having anything to do with people who are that sick and twisted, like morally twisted. Like I just don't want to, like the Dan Bilzerians of the world.
Right.
So
I know. Well, I mean, nowadays everyone gets called a Nazi, and it's very hurtful for some people.
Yeah, but for some people they bask
like.
in it.
No, I can't stand the word.
I sometimes forget that you come from Germany, right? And that
we have a personal relationship with this word. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it's mind blowing to me that you use a word and you don't seem to know the history of the word.
No, they don't. They don't. I got into a Twitter argument with someone who was claiming that Germany was better off under the Third Reich than under the Weimar Republic. And I'm like, well, I said that's an interesting take, considering that the Third Reich, which was supposed to last 1,000 years, lasted all of a dozen. So.
That's because Hitler was a nitwit.
Right.
You know what I mean? But I mean, he did. I'm telling you something. He did a few good things, though. Hitler built the Autobahn. Now, I don't know if you ever heard of the Autobahn.
Who?
You.
Heard of what other one?
You know, It's called the Autobahn.
Oh, the Autobahn. Yeah, I heard about that. That's where there's no speed limit, right?
No, it's not just no speed limit. It's the most fantastic built highway in the world.
Is it?
It is.
Cool.
How many ever replaced.
What's the average speeding? What average speed do people drive on the Autobahn?
Oh my God! Whatever you call out.
Like 150 kilometers an hour. Like, what are they all doing there? That's my question.
Just driving.
No, I'm asking like what speed they're doing there.
Over there?
On the Autobahn.
What if your car can drive 200 miles per hour? You just go ahead and do so.
What's the fastest you've ever gone?
Oh, with our Mercedes?
Mm-hmm.
Oof. Yeah, about 180.
Miles or kilometers?
Huh?
Miles per hour?
Miles.
Miles per hour. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And it's no problem. Everyone knows the rules of the Autobahn.
Yeah, I don't know.
And Hitler gave us our social health care, which we kept.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he did it. Nobody else did. He did. And I'm not saying this does not offset anything else. Not concentration camps or how he treated Jews. None of that.
I'm gonna tell you this. I took a public speaking class when I was in undergrad, and so part of the class was we had to give lectures, like sort of get up there and speak. Mm-hmm. And I gave a lecture about where you had to talk about like someone that you admire, like something about someone that you admire.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually got up there and I spoke about how I admired the power of Hitler's public speaking. That he
was a great orator.
That he was a phenomenal, and everyone was like shocked. Like here's this Jewish kid getting up there, and basically I think that there's nothing wrong with recognizing the abilities that people have, and he clearly had a unique capacity for reaching the hearts and minds of large numbers of people at a time in a way that's felt for them practically religious.
Well, he wasn't in the beginning. He actually had a teacher who taught him all the gestures and how to raise his voice at a certain time. That came later.
Well, at some point, he certainly developed a real mastery of it. So
yes, he did. And yes, you're right. He did, promise the German people a better life. That's absolutely correct.
Mm-hmm.
And he did it for a while. Germany was booming.
Yeah. No.
That is absolutely correct.
If he didn't turn into like a psychopath, he actually he had potential to be a phenomenal leader. The problem is that his psychopathy was what ended up dominating who he was, both with respect to Jews and the entire world. His appetite for global conquest was just astonishing. So.
Yeah, and I mean, I hope you understand that not every German was all right with things.
No, I look. I'm not sitting here passing judgment. It's not my place to pass judgment on any individual, especially someone who's not a public figure.
People seem to forget sometimes that Germans died in concentration camps.
Initially, this is true. Initially, the concentration camps were built for German dissidents. Anyone who stood up to Nazism was. I mean, countless socialists, communists, they all got sent to basically be put away forever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, you know, the gypsies, for instance, would have even a more louder voice if they would do it, but they don't do it. They just don't think about
They
it.
get cowed.
I never hear someone say, "Oh, we need a Remembrance Day for the gypsies."
Yeah, there were like 1 million gypsies, I think, that were killed. They hated the gypsies. Yeah.
Yeah, they did.
All right, Karen. I need to bugger on off. I'm already been here 3 hours and 20 minutes, and I didn't eat supper yet. So.
Okay. Thank you very much for your show, and you.
Thank you for the call. You're always a pleasure to talk to, Karen. Have a great night.
Oh, thank you. You too.
All right, take care.
Goodbye.
Bye. And that's Karen Manning's right there. All right, great call there, Karen. And to all of you, to Dick Parker, and of course Tom Massie, all of you were great. So that's our show for tonight. Tomorrow I'm going to be back here with Sin. I'm going to give you a heads up. I'm not going to be here on Thursday night. It's Jewish holiday. So it's a Jewish holiday which eats up Thursday night and Friday, but I'm never here Friday. So I'm not going to be here, but I will be here tomorrow night. Make sure you're here too. And you'll get notifications on timing of that at goodlogic.locals.com. Please make sure you like, share, subscribe, that you stay away from that freaking lab meat. Lab meat is meant for people who have boner phones and say, you know, it's meant for they, them. It's not meant for you. And do not eat the bugs. Don't do it. Don't eat the bugs. Don't. Have a good night, everyone. And as always, Godspeed. Oh, wait. Did I get this? I read it. Challenge for you, Tal Orwin, the traveling clad. How much for you to watch this channel the entire week? Takeaway says carefully as a Jew. You'll thank me for this. I did talk about this. I've watched this. He's great. He's awesome. I would love to have him on the show. I just don't think I could ever get a hold of him. But yeah, he doesn't follow me on X yet. So good night, everyone. Godspeed.